All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now live on Sportswire Radio's YouTube page, Twitter at Thomas Price 2017, and sportnarium.com/player. We have a lot to talk about here because our guest tonight, who's certainly having some internet and audio issues, we'll see how long he's with us because it looks like he's already frozen in time. He made his return after 14 years away from the ring. He did that at Wrestling Championship Entertainment's Showdown in the Yard. He was in the main event against Craven Rage for the All Out Championship. He also was a part of a four-way match to get himself in that main event. He's going to talk about that, maybe plus some announcements and maybe the future of Skullz. It has certainly been a long time since we had him here in studio as a standalone. We did see him when it came to an attack, the first and only ever attack in Sportswire radio history, which he was a part of. We'll see if he can top that and some. He needs no further introduction, but we're going to give it to him anyway, and also because I don't know how long his video is going to hold up. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one Global Sports Show. They call him the Soul Hunter from Wrestling Championship Entertainment. His name is Skullz. My friend, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me back. Your introduction never get too old.
Well, we'll see if my voice can hold up.
It made me feel happy to be back.
I'm happy to have you back. I was a little frustrated with you because it was taking you forever to come on here, but we're here. We'll trudge through it. I think there's going to be some surprises for you and some. I think there'll certainly be some other people that'll want to tune in and certainly talk with you. But Skullz, before we get into all of that, obviously for those that are listening and watching, as I mentioned in my introduction here of you, 14 years reminds me of the Guns N' Roses song 14 Years off Use Your Illusion. And you have returned. And for those that are listening and watching, talk about your return to the ring in Wrestling Championship Entertainment's Showdown in the Yard and all of that and more.
Yeah, man. Making my return after 14 years.
Yes.
It gave me a hint that I have to step up my game some more. Maybe knowing tonight I had to hire security because of that vicious attack Craven did to me just to try to soften me up.
You definitely have to step your game up. And
so I don't know if he was afraid that he was going to lose that belt.
Right. Well, we lost you there in connection because obviously we're having some big problems with you. So I'm going to get to the point that you just
totally agree.
I don't hear you very well, but I did parcel in what I heard from you about the fact that you had said that you had returned to the ring and you need to step your game up. You know, a lot of people are going to feel that Skullz wasn't worthy of a world title shot. A lot of people are going to feel from when they saw the footage that Skullz, I mean, he was yet another victim of Craven Rage, another guy that basically was off the street and was picked out of a lineup so Craven Rage can crush him. What would you say to those people out there?
Skullz. Well, see, like when it came to Craven,
Skullz. Well, ladies and gentlemen, certainly WC is having a terrible week right now when it comes to either internet connection, when it comes to just a lack of speaking. I mean, certainly if you're a fan of Wrestling Championship Entertainment right now, I mean, you could not be pleased. I mean, if you're out there, your management, Skullz, I'm having a really hard time with you right now. You got to fix the audio because this is really a bad week for WC. So you got to come in here because I'm losing a little bit of patience right now. And you know I'm a fan of yours and a supporter, but you got to fix this video and internet connection. Skullz, I don't have much patience tonight.
I'll do this down better.
You're frozen in La La Land. This is WCE wants to be the big boys, and right now we need. I don't see you. You're like coming in clouded. So the question is, what do you say to people that basically feel like that you were another bum off the street that had a match against Craven Rage after 14 years and you weren't warranted? What do you say from those people out there?
Come on. Well, I may seem like somebody, but I am not no bum. I've been hearing all these voices. People tell me about my performance.
A lot of people have asked me about the performance. There's people that
I really don't care what people have to say because
I can't even hear.
What was it?
You right now. I mean, I really can't. You Skullz, I'm with you, but you got to fix the internet and audio. You got to fix it. I don't have much patience right now.
Well, I'm sorry, my internet's been kind of down because we've been having a lot of fires around me right now.
No, I know, but people wanted to hear you tonight, and this is proving WCE's having a really tough last couple of days. I mean, this is basically showing WCE is supposed to stand and be here in the spotlight. WCE is supposed to be where the big boys play, and we've got your internet problems. Sean Jovi basically said it was too late for him. James Marshall didn't have a word or two to say. I mean, WCE, I don't even know what the future is really here. I mean, Skullz, you got to fix this here. You got to fix it. Skullz. Well, I'm going to read some comments over in the meantime because you're having a hard time connection right now. Skullz the talent hunter, but he hasn't found it yet.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, well, I'm going to read the comments off first. Hopefully you fix the video.
Yeah, we might have to reschedule this.
Yeah, I'm telling you what right now, you're going to have to – I'm going to read the comments off, and I'm actually going to go into plan B because it seems like you're basically showing what WCE has failed to kind of figure out here right now. Anthony Finkel, Skullz. Yeah, well, Skullz, unfortunately, is having some technical difficulties right now. You need to step the Wi-Fi up. I mean, AWL definitely, and I was our guest last night, ADT. Now, that was a champion. That was a guy who I'm going to definitely talk about here in a few short minutes because I think we're going to plan B here. The voices mean you need to hot. Well, I'm going to not leave that. I'm going to leave that aside. But Skullz, you got to. So what's the deal? I mean, what do you say to the people that are saying right now you're not ready for prime time? Because it seems like you're not right now. Well, Skullz,
my fucking internet, dude.
Well, I think obviously that's definitely the case, and
the internet going out, dude.
Well, you know what? I kind of had a feeling that this was going to happen, Skullz. So I'm going to see if you want to come back. And I actually have a plan B here. And thankfully, we have one company that has figured out their internet because I'll tell you what, Soldier GP and Omen Black, you know what? I'm going to say it right here. Maybe Sportswire, Omen, it is your show after all. Maybe Soldier, it is your show after all. Because you know what? I'm going to let you guys have the microphone right now.
My show, but yeah, sure.
Because you know what? WCE, Sean Jovi didn't talk. James Marshall couldn't say a word. Skullz had bad internet connection. Fellas, save us here because I'm actually going to go to plan B, and it's actually going to involve you guys, and I'm going to tell you why in a second. So, fellas, it's your show. Speak.
Well, I'm sorry to all the fans wasting their time watching Skullz get frozen in time. Hold on.
What was it, Men in Black 3? Was he watching? I'm trying my best here, but this is this is not acceptable.
It's such a shame.
Their Wi-Fi is just like their talent.
It's almost like WWF 2000 versus WCW late 2000 right now. That's right now. Listen, I mean, you're supposed to face these guys, and one guy doesn't talk. The other guy said he woke up a few hours late. And Skullz, who was in the main event of WC's Showdown in the Yard, doesn't even have internet.
Well, luckily, when they show up, there's not going to be a lag. We're damn sure going to put them to sleep.
Well, they put some people to sleep over the last 2 days. I'll tell you that much.
Marshall.
Well, James.
Now, Nicholas Crenson, you want to sit there and cut yourself, show how extreme you are. Well, let's just say this. In that tag match, the Foundation,
He's not going to have to cut himself.
we're not going to need you to blade. We'll really make you bleed.
Well, I think it might be an early night and an early evening for Wrestling Championship Entertainment based after these couple of days. But you know what? I actually want to go to something that does involve you gentlemen. And I think a lot of people out there are probably going to want to know your thoughts on it because obviously the news broke a few hours ago that Jack Delta, who's been the I've been everywhere man in the world of backyard wrestling, he has been the darling, the Kardashian, you might even call it, of backyard wrestling, has said sayonara. He's called it quits. And you know, gentlemen, I would have to say, if I were to think of who could pick up the pieces potentially, who would be the guys that would be at my list? And I got some names tonight that I think a lot of people are going to want to know about. I mean, you guys could be at the top of the list to maybe fill that void that Jack
We are the
Delta
list,
left.
Tom. I'm going to cut you off there. We are the list.
So let's
We're the
talk
only
about
ones
it.
right now traveling. Besides Anthony Steele traveled a couple times. But we're the guys doing it. And our brothers / opponents at DKW, Dark Kron and Matt the Forsaken. See, the Midwest 4, we are those guys.
I mean, we already took the mantle from him. We already took that and took it from him. That's why he's leaving.
So what? Jack Delta's leaving. What? The card told him it's done. His time's over. A little card he likes to keep precious to him.
So basically,
For those who know the card I'm talking about, you know exactly what I mean.
oh, we definitely do. And I guess then we won't be missing Mr. Delta too much then because you guys have basically picked up really where he left off, I guess, safe to say.
We're doing it better. That's all we do. We do everything that everyone else has done, but better. Now,
Okay.
WCE, Tom, the other night you brought up a good point that we stole the thunder from WCE. What thunder?
They don't have any thunder right now. There is no thunder when it
But I'm
comes to
asking you,
WC.
In the past, what thunder? You had on your show Craven Rage versus a rabbit. James Marshall, who doesn't talk. I buried him in his own interview. Craven Rage, I did the same thing. This man right here, he has buried Jovi time and time again on his own podcast shows. Who else is doing that for WCE?
Well, I got some comments.
Our good friend, the coach, comes in and does that. And we appreciate that.
Yes, he does. Yes, he actually does. And I actually want to say hello to somebody who's actually going to piggyback off what you guys had to say before I bring somebody else in, and that is Mr. AJ Morgan from the Alliance Wrestling League, who had been defeated by our guest last night, Mr. ADT. And myself and ADT don't agree on much, but what the actual hell was this so-called Skullz? Yeah, I mean, Skullz at this point, I mean, I really don't know what the future of Skullz could be. Maybe just get a better laptop.
Tom said earlier, a talent hunter.
Still searching for it. Like, that's what it is.
You know what? He'll find that talent probably in a fast food line, not a production line. Maybe he's the guy that fills the sauce at Wingstop.
He said he had been out of the game for 14 years.
14 years, correct.
Okay, well, he should have stayed out of the game because the game has surpassed his abilities.
I'm telling you right now, that guy's never been in the game. I don't care what people say. Oh, he's been in the business, but he took a 14-year-old break. No, he did not. That guy's never stepped foot in a ring as a competitor before WCE let him in. He stepped in a ring maybe as a fan.
So what do you think that has to say then on behalf of WCE? Because there were people out there, and I tried to ask Skullz this question, that people had felt that, well, Here was a guy, Skullz, and you kind of touched upon it. Another guy that faces Craven Rage that, frankly, meh.
You got it.
It's like Rocky 3. These are all paper people to put in front of a paper champ
Paper tigers.
to make him look good. When real talent challenged him, what happened? He backed away from him.
Well, so did Crenson.
It's just paper it's paper people for the make the champion look good. Well, this is his club and lane.
No, I definitely think that.
Tom, let me ask you this:
Yes, sir.
What sense does this make? You were there. I called out Nicholas Crenson after Craven Rage ducked me.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I was there. I was there.
And Crenson did duck me as well. But now he wants a tag match against me and the most dominant tag team in backyard wrestling ever, the Foundation. What sense is that? What leverage or does he have?
I think he's got no leverage right now because, again, Sean Jovi's basically ducked Soldier. I mean, Jovi was like, well, I challenged Jordan Nets because he's the champion, and I'm not ducking you, but he's got a title. You don't. James Marshall was basically Silent Man, almost Jay and Silent Bob, it seemed like we had, rather instead of Jovi and James Marshall. And I have a couple of comments here before I bring somebody else that might want to say hello to you. And this is actually from our guest that's coming on here next week. He is the man behind XCW. And by the way, I just saw his company's extra show most recently. That is Mr. Fletch. And Mr. Fletch has something to say about Mr. Delta. Jack Delta quits every other month. That's why he's self-destructive, Jack Delta.
You know what, Fletch? We totally agree. And Fletch, we're huge fans of XCW. Huge fan of yours. Contact us.
Well, would you mind?
Like we stated, we're hitmen for hire. You got a problem, we'll solve it.
So, would you mind, Omen and Soldier, next week when Mr. Fletch is in your chair, that, hey, maybe I could bring you guys along to introduce yourselves to Mr. Fletch, and possibly, maybe if I could ask Mr. Fletch quite a bit about you guys. Would you mind if I could arrange that?
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to do that here. But speaking of XCW, there's somebody else that wants to say something, and he's always got a lot to say. And I just watched his own company, which he's doing a great job on behalf of, that is Critical Backyard Wrestling. You guys know him. He's sometimes Jackson Law, Captain Law, but he's here in the flesh and wound. And Mr. Law of the Land, how are you, sir? Please save us from the opening of the show tonight. Please save us.
I'm doing great. I'm in my best James Taylor setting, sitting in my car. It's going to be a good day. I mean, you couldn't fit two people on the same screen with the Foundation. That's also a good thing. They both can't fit in the same frame. But ladies and gentlemen, the Law of the Land is here to save, as only the Antichrist of backyard wrestling and the Messiah of the yard can do. Oh, wait, I'm not the Messiah of the yard. Shit, that's Austin Aries, isn't it? Yeah. I'm the Antichrist, god damn it.
Well, how you doing?
Someone else, too.
Oh, shut up. You guys have someone that does all of Will Ospreay's moveset.
So what's on your mind, Mr. Law? Obviously, there's a lot going on in the world of backyard wrestling. Obviously, we've heard this news about Jack Delta, who has said basically sayonara.
I've heard that news 1,000 times. We'll see Delta again in 2 months when he decides to pull the dirt out of his vagina.
So you think maybe somebody will come up with, I don't know, a few dollars, and maybe somebody will come around and say, hey, you know what? Maybe you'll get me a few followers. Maybe you'll get me, maybe some social media engagements, and then he'll run on their companies out of town almost. You think that'll wind up happening once again?
We're telling you, the card.
What'll happen is... Shut up! He asked me the question, not you. He asked me the question, not you. Okay? The least humble guy in the yard is talking now, okay?
Grow a beard and talk.
Just ask James Taylor, he'll tell you. But as far as Jack Delta goes, I'm not gonna sit here and rag on the guy. He's got an injury, he's got a boo-boo in his elbow. It happens. I wrestled for 6 shows on fractured ribs, doing 2 or 3 matches a show, but it's okay. It's okay. Or rather, I wrestled 6 matches. Sorry, not 6 shows. 6 matches on fractured ribs. Let me correct myself before someone else does. I wrestled 6 matches plus on fractured ribs, and that was just for one company. I was still traveling at that time. So injuries happen in the yard. We can't sit here and rag on self-destruct Jack Delta for hurting himself. He's got a boo-boo in his elbow. You saw the bandage all around it.
I watched Instagram. Yes, I did. I saw it.
It's okay. One of the voices in his head is going to tell him to come back at some point. I know Soldier just tried to scoot closer to Omen, but now it's looking like the back seat of a drive-in movie, and I'm kind of scared.
Yeah. Says the one in his car who can't cut off promo inside his house.
But at least he's got better internet right now than some of the recent guests. I'll say that much right now.
I just got off of work. I haven't gone home yet. I'm sorry. I worked all day. What's your excuse?
I worked all day too, but unlike you, we don't sit in the corner.
Oh, shut up. Clean the dreads out of your hair. Things are looking a little musty, dusty, and crusty.
Clean the dreads out of your hair.
Clean the dreads out of his hair. He needs to get a pick. He needs to undo the dreads. He needs to clean them and then re-dread them.
Huh.
You don't want smoke. I'll beat your ass.
Well, if I were to say to you, Mr. Law, in the fact that Mr. Fletch might meet Mr. Black and Mr. Soldier next week here, what would your opinion be about that?
We got a 16x16 ring. We got tag teams. We got tag team competitors. Show up and do something. Well, XCW has a 16x16. When I say we, because I'm part of that roster.
No, you definitely are. And by the way, I watched your show most recently from Critical Backyard Wrestling, by the way. Very impressed with the program. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed your segment. I enjoyed the main event. Let me get to some comments here because people want to talk, and I certainly want to give people that opportunity. Adonis Felios, evening, Mr. Law. I think Church of Crenton should be repossessed and closed a bit early. Well, WC is having a terrible last couple of days. I mean, WC right now is almost
one's talking about Crenton or the Church of Crenton.
Well,
isn't that the company out in Wisconsin?
Yes, that's the Craven Rage is the champion there. That's the guy who's been champion for 500 days almost.
You can have your Roman Reigns, but you can message me and I can come take his title and not get squashed in 5 minutes and actually give him a match and take the championship and I don't know, save WCE and put it on another pin in the state list and another title on the achievements list.
Well, right now, I don't know if anybody's wanting any achievements right now with the company's internet connections, lack of talking, and being owned on Sportswire.
After the 12th, there's not going to be a WC to go to.
It might be WCW 2001. It almost might be like the last show of WCW.
Hey, I'll buy their ring and stage on payments, of course, because I'm broke. But I'll buy their ring and stage.
They'll probably sell it to you.
So as much as people shit on WCE, the few videos of theirs I've watched, they have a really nice looking setup.
No,
their setup look fucking wow.
The editing is good, the ring, but right now they're having a tough past couple of weeks. And Anthony Finkel, my very good buddy from the friendly confines of Brooklyn, New York, this is a night on Sportswire Radio for the record books, more like infamy because of Skullz and his lack of internet, and he's trying to come on here again. He sounds like a broken record. I think Law likes to listen to himself talk. Now, Chase Wakefield, obviously, he's from Dominant Breakout Wrestling, and they're another company.
No. I don't want to hear shit from the Bitcoin bitch.
Oh, you know him.
Because Bitcoin stocks have plummeted because Dogecoin is better than Bitcoin. So how about this? You stop mining on your shitty computers, you get a good gimmick, and you come face the law of the land. Or maybe I need to come to DBW, add it to my list, and beat the shit out of you there.
Well, could I ask all three of you something, if you don't mind? Speaking of Dominant Breakout Wrestling, if you didn't mind, I actually could ask all three of you this question. Obviously, I know we were speaking about Jack Delta. I'll come back to that among other things, but we actually are going to have the proprietor of that company, Dominant Breakout Wrestling, next Thursday He's also, if I could pull the curtain back, the company's champion there. He's called Mr. Judgment, a.k.a. Brian Phillips. Would you gentlemen mind, again, if I had maybe passed around your name to the proprietor of that company and asked him what he thought of you, gentlemen?
I'm traveling the rest of this year.
Sure, why
if you
not?
want to pass my name to somebody, go ahead. Because guess what? I will show up to DBW. I only know one person there right now because I haven't watched the product in a long time. I want to match with Wakefield. Give me Wakefield. And doesn't Yankee TDM wrestle with you all out there at DBW?
I believe that's a point. Yes, I would have to agree. And also, we have some other people there in DBW. I want to
Give me
point
a
that out.
match with Yankee too.
Okay, I'll certainly pass that along, and maybe I'll let you gentlemen say hello to Mr. Judgment next Thursday. If you were not doing anything, I could certainly ask you guys if you'd like. A new savior, law cometh. CJ Black is looking for a new best friend, so maybe if you guys are looking for a new,
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. Don't do it.
Okay. Well, everybody's
Wait,
having a tough day.
Aren't these two his best friend? I thought they didn't he just bring them in? Damn, he ditched you all on the side of the road like roadkill.
Well,
They were hitmen for hire.
We're hitmen for hire.
He had a problem with Jacob Collins.
We handled that problem.
Well, would you like me to change topics and say what Mr. Fletch would like to say instead?
Sure.
Sure.
Let me talk about how many injuries I've worked for. No excuse. It's wrestling. The retirement angle is lame. If you're too scared to wrestle or can't commit, fill in the blanks off completely. Fletch.
Fill in the blanks.
We're a family show on Sportswire. I do have people that listen to it. And
We're a
they,
family show.
we try to be.
A family show?
Yes, we do. We
I
try.
literally told James Taylor to bite me.
Well,
Since when
well,
is
you
this
can
a
say
family
that.
show?
Well, when I'm reading the comments off, I try to at least have, attain to that. But you can say whatever you want.
That's fair. That's fair.
I didn't see anything wrong with what Fletch said.
No, and,
Right.
and I
Nothing
think a
at
lot
all.
of people right now are bummed out by Jack Delta. A lot of people are basically what people have been saying through the grapevine. It seems like it's come to fruition. So,
Oh,
If
no,
you're gonna
we're
talk
trying
about-
over
if you're
here. You don't get to whoop his ass.
If you're going to talk about pulling back the curtain a little bit, let's pull back the curtain a little bit. At the beginning of this year, I did hard reset, had a rumble. Delta came in. Delta lost said rumble to Fletch. Fletch became the critical heavyweight champion. The story that was supposed to be told after that was Delta and him building to Bound for Destiny for the critical heavyweight championship. Unfortunately, Delta pulled out of bookings. Therefore, that's why Nico Vibe was in the match. That's why he came back at all and won the gauntlet match. That was supposed to be
telling you.
Delta's spot.
His card did not let him come back. His card is telling him to leave. And I imagine the card will tell him to come back.
He's got voices in his head, man. You know that. Don't you watch the product?
I've had him on here. I mean, I've had him on. I mean, I know firsthand. I've spoken to the guy long enough. It's, certainly that. I do want to bring somebody up here, though, that I had on yesterday, and I was curious what you gentlemen thought of him. And his name is ADT. He is the Alliance Wrestling League champion, and he's actually coming back here Sunday night once again, and he'll be here with Mr. Christopher James. He's going to talk about all things related to the Alliance Wrestling League at that particular spot. But what do you guys think of this guy? He's a big guy. He's 240 pounds, got an amateur wrestling background. Come in here and won a last man standing match, an Iron Man match, and he's a big guy, and maybe he'd be somebody else that people might want to see as the next chosen one, maybe. What do you guys think?
I'll agree. I'll agree with that comment down there. The AWL stage is one of the best in BYW. It's definitely top 5. I actually really fucking like that stage. But here's the thing. You can put that stage up. You can walk out with your cool-ass entrance, because I'll give you that. You got a badass entrance, too. And your wooden belt, which I was making wooden belts back in 2018. You were probably making them before, because I know you wrestled before that. Here's the thing. I've beaten an ACT. I could definitely beat an ADT. And leave you laying on the streets needing some EBT. Bippity boppity.
Well, Omen and Soldier.
You
You
have
have.
to go with Dr. Seuss on it.
I kind of liked it.
I had to bust out the Dr. Seuss on it.
I liked it. I have to say, I liked it, Mr. Law. But Mr. Omen and Mr. Soldier, anything you want to say to this ADT individual? I'm sure you guys have gotten to know him a little bit. Anything you want to say to him?
We know a place where you test your metal.
Actually, honestly, I don't even know what it is, but if you want, I'll be honest. I
I
don't know
want
what it is.
to see him wrestle his cousin.
I think some people would like to see that, actually. I think
I've
that
never
would be
seen the show. Never
But
seen the product.
If you're looking for talent to defend that title you have, look no further. Come to IMF, and I'll take it from you.
We're better in July next year.
All right, I'm afraid I don't know if I should do this or not, gentlemen. And I'll say, be very kind if I do this. But if I were to say Skullz might be back and maybe has better internet, should I bring him on?
Nah, he ruined his chance. I don't know who he is, but he ruined his opportunity.
I could see Omen's eyes. So Omen, you want him on, Omen? You sure about this?
It's your show, though. So
It's time for the truth to come out.
reality.
I think people might actually. I have a feeling because I'm actually getting messages from friends of mine who actually think I should bring him on. So
It's time for the truth to come out.
Skullz, you're up at bat. It better be good.
I hope it is. My internet decided to want to crash. It's all me.
So you're here, Skullz, but basically your thunder was taken from you tonight. What do you want to say to the world out here?
Well, people been asking me what my big surprise is. For the first time in my career, I have the pleasure to have a wrestling action figure made of me that will be revealed in 2 weeks.
Don't waste our time with making that. Don't do that to the kids.
Is there anything else that you feel is important? You know, one of the things I tried to ask you, Skullz, was that a lot of people had felt that.
What's wrong, Law? You breaking over there?
Well, a lot of people had
I'm
felt
perfectly
Skullz.
fine.
No, you ain't.
A lot of people, Skullz, had felt that your return to the ring after 14 years. Now, this is not my opinion, but what people were saying out there in different backyards, different promotions, that it was a little underwhelming. I mean, I'm curious in the fact.
A little.
I said that was my opinion. But Skullz, what would you say toward that? I mean, you know, what would you say to people out there that felt that the title shot against Craven Rage wasn't warranted?
Well, he's the one that asked me to come. So I took it as the opportunity to test myself. Yes,
Do you listen to
I'll
everybody?
admit it, I had some ring rust from being away from the ring for 14 years.
Okay.
That sucks.
Hey, what ring were you in 14 years ago?
Well, if you guys have followed me for my first time when I was on Sportzwire Radio, I used to wrestle for a company in my hometown known as Riverside. There was some shady shit was going on with the promotion.
Come on, get to the point.
I gotta
name?
ask you one question. I gotta ask you one question before you get to that. Do you know a man by the name of the Hostinator?
No, I do not.
Because you and him sound like you would get along real well. That's all I'm saying.
Drum roll, please. But bump Skullz. What do you say to the people out there? Because you're on the clock. You're basically turning into the Sean Jovi and James Marshall-like performance.
Hey, Law,
right
get
here.
it together, man. You're on Sportswire. Hold it up.
Yeah, you're on our stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Okay.
14 years.
Sorry.
So, well, in the meantime, right now, I decided to get my ass back into training. So hopefully the next time when I do come back to WCE, the outcome will be better.
Are you saying that there'll be a return to WC? Did I just hear that correct? Or do I need to get my ears checked?
Yes. So supposedly, according to management, I'm returning in October.
You are.
Hey, we're gonna save you from talking about when you're coming back to WCE, because after the 12th there is not gonna be a WCE because IMF is gonna put them to the ground. So there's not gonna be a WCE to come back to. So if you want to test whatever abilities you do have, being gone for 14 years, why don't you come to Iowa? It's a little bit closer to you than Wisconsin.
Don't do that to me.
And we can send you back into retirement because some people have it and some people don't. And sir, you just don't have it.
Don't do that to him. You're sending him into a slaughter. Don't. Our worst wrestler, Chucky O'Malley, kicked your ass.
Was okay. Sorry that we cut you off, but like, is the company that you wrestled for on YouTube at all? Like the original company you wrestled for?
So the original company, when it started, YouTube was not around. It was only MySpace at the time. This was the early 2000s.
What was the name of the company?
It was called Extreme American Wrestling.
Let me ask this: what's so extreme about it?
It was known for no ring, no backyard. Basically, you find a location
Hold on.
and you get it on.
There. No backyard. So what? You guys just did it in the front yard?
We done it at
You
park.
guys wrestle in outer space?
We done
They
it.
wrestling in back alleys.
We done it at our high school. We even done it in construction zone.
Is that such a
what
thing?
zone?
Is that such a thing?
I don't think OSHA would have certified that.
Well, I don't know if I have to go back into my OSHA license booklet out there somewhere, but I mean, certainly, I guess we'll have to think about that. I mean, Skullz, is there anything else on your mind that you want to get off your chest here tonight? Because obviously
I'm just going
people...
to say this, Tom. We've been shitting on him the whole time. And again, WCE talent will not back up their own shit.
I don't know. I mean, listen.
I'm tired of saying it. You don't got it. Crenson don't got it. Jovi don't got it. And certainly James Marshall don't got it.
And we didn't even bring up Craven Rage yet, right? We didn't bring his name up.
I'm not bringing that coward up.
Skullz.
You had a match with Tyler Ark, Jay Stereo, and what, billiards?
Yeah. But look who won that freaking match.
Game at a bar. A guy, Jay Stereo,
Did you say you matched with
who will
Rey
never
Mysterio?
get a shot at Craven Rage.
Jay Stereo.
Tyler Ark,
Jay Stereo.
who can't even wrestle. He gets in the ring and botches just entering the ring. And then we have Skullz, the Soul Hunter. What the fuck is a Soul Hunter? If that was a Soul Hunter in that ring, I'm feeling pretty safe.
A Soul Hunter? Sounds like a Soul Take.
I'll say it. The only WCE talent that we actually have a little bit of respect for is Dash Andrews, because he actually showed up here. But what happened? He got his ass whooped, and we sent him right back. Now, Skullz, again, you say you took 14 years away from here. And if that's how you wrestled 14 years ago, your big return, your big moment, and you failed. You failed at WCE. Like I said, like we all keep telling, like everybody keeps hitting comments and all that. Some people have it, some people don't, and you don't have it. I don't think you ever did have it. If that's how you wrestled, you never had it.
Well, you got to think about it. 14 years ago, I never had the proper freaking training.
14 years ago, you weren't wrestling. Sounds like you were fighting. You were fighting.
Skullz.
So you're okay. So to be fair, I haven't watched this guy's return match at all. But your excuse for, what everybody says was complete hot garbage is that you haven't had the proper training and you didn't have the proper training 14 years ago. So what I want to know is, if you didn't have the proper training 14 years ago and you don't have the proper training now, why the fuck are you stepping through a set of ropes, guy?
I'll tell you this. I'll piggyback off that. Soldier, you want to invite this guy to IMF? I'll give you a match, but I guarantee it's going to be your last.
Well,
Nah, see, now it sounds like you're threatening a guy when he steps through the ropes, and that's not a good look. Omen, I like
No,
you. Don't ruin your reputation.
No. It'll be your last match, because you'll see what a real competitor does in the ring. And you'll feel like, maybe I can't cut it.
well, Skullz, we can certainly talk about that another time. I will certainly say that you don't have to say yes or you don't have to say no right now. I will say that much here. But is there anything that you want to say in a positive light? Because obviously tonight, I know the internet didn't help things. I will give you a pass, and I will let you come on another time when you have better internet connection. But is there anything on a positive note that you want to talk about? Anything that you might be doing that might actually help you with a company that, and I'm going to pull this out there, that I'm actually friends with, that's called Valley Wrestling Connection. So I'm going to help you out here, Skullz, on this one. I'm going to help you out. Is there anything you're doing with my friend Jarrell Diaz?
Yes. So, since I'm not going to be wrestling for a while, Valley Wrestling Connection offer a hand to help me better myself in the ring. Also, had me work after a local show on a ringside crew. And the guy that he had brought into the company are willing to work with me on bettering my wrestling ability.
Okay, well, that's good news. Obviously, Jarrell is a friend, and I have Vito Fratelli next Wednesday night, midnight. So I'm sure Mr. Fratelli, you should certainly be speaking to Mr. Fratelli and certainly Mr. Diaz. I'm sure that Mr. Diaz will give you certainly some good pointers. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? Because obviously, I think tonight we should give you a pass, and I'm going to be a nice guy and give you a redukes another time when you have better internet.
Oh, now right now, I'll get that better bail while I can. Because
I think you
apparently,
should kind of quit while you're ahead. Right now, you're on a high. I think there's an old adage in life. Right now, get out before you get further scathed. So I think you did good. You said Valley Wrestling Connection. You mentioned Jarrell Diaz. I will certainly make sure that Mr. Diaz certainly makes a note and helps you out. And we'll see you maybe in the next week or so with better internet. Hopefully, maybe next week, better
Hey,
internet.
Law, don't break.
Better internet, Skullz. And where can we find you on social media?
so you guys can follow me on my YouTube channel, Skull the Soul Hunter. My Instagram, which is Skull the Soul Hunter as well, and Twitter.
And congratulations on the 200 YouTube subscribers.
Yes,
Keep up
thank
the good
you.
work. You obviously keep training, keep punching, keep smiling, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon, Skullz. And message me in a little while. Maybe we can schedule you in a few days from now with better internet. All right.
Yeah, hopefully all these fires down here in California are gone.
Well, we certainly hope so. We hope you get better internet. So, all right, Skullz.
Yeah.
We'll talk with you soon. That was Skullz the Soul Hunter. I think, gentlemen, I kind of wanted to end it on a high note, and let's speak with you guys for a little while longer because I have some comments. People want to talk to you. Would you mind if I showed those comments?
Are you done breaking that law?
Can I ask you to do the thing on the layout at the bottom of StreamYard where it puts all three of us in actual like boxes instead of these little itty bitty side by sides? Thank you, so I can actually see both of them. Jesus Christ!
Not a problem. Not a problem. Certainly, your request
Thank
is
you.
my command. Not a problem. If you don't mind, though, let's get to some of the comments because people did want to actually talk to you here. Fletch says, "Don't disturb while I'm cleaning my room." Skullz. I mean, that was from Fletch, not me. This takes burying to a whole new level. I tried. I think we ended on a high note. I think that's the best thing I could say.
Soul Hunter got his soul buried, but you know.
But I think the last few minutes, at least we ended on a high. But it was better than the way that Jovi and Marshall ended. It was basically like, well, they kind of just sat there. at least gave us a couple of nuggets. YouTube doesn't do well to threats, messes up the algorithm, which is why I wanted to move away from that and kind of let's dial it back. Well,
Threatening at all.
oh man, look at the size of you. Look at the size of Skullz. If I was Skullz, I would make sure I would not go to Iowa and never even enter the state. That would be just my advice. What do I know, right?
I'm not saying anything. I'm not threatening him. But I'm saying this.
Dirty.
He's gonna see what a real competitor can do in a ring. He's gonna be like, I can't cut it. I can't do
again.
that.
Yeah.
He's not a wrestler. That wouldn't be a match, period. Like I was biting my tongue through all of that because I really wanted to just clown the guy, but I didn't want to be labeled as a bully. So don't entertain it. There's nothing there to entertain. He wrestled in WCE, and we saw how that looked.
You just said he wasn't a wrestler. Like, look what you just said. He wrestled in WCE.
A non-wrestler can wrestle. Okay. There's been celebrity guests. He doesn't have that accolade. That's called a charity case for a reason.
I was about to say, don't compare him to like Bad Bunny, Kevin Fairline back in the day.
Bad Bunny can actually wrestle.
I can't.
No, Bad Bunny and Logan Paul are like actually good.
Remember that?
Yeah, he beat John Cena.
I know.
Yes, I remember that.
Like
Yes,
I'm just saying, Make-A-Wish charity cases happen, and I feel like WCE was being generous in letting him step in the ring. I don't think they should have because it's obvious that he's not.
We did ours.
Maybe they didn't know. I mean,
canon.
Maybe they didn't know. I don't know. Did they not?
His internet's running on the same wavelength as other things he has. I'll put it that way.
Like I just said, we do the same with ours. I lose canon. Fuck you.
So let me get to more comments here. Fletch says, guest again, Tom, please don't. And he also then goes on and says, no offense, Skullz, but no thanks, not following you, Fletch. And I'm sure I will not ask Fletch next Tuesday about Skullz. I will not do it. But what I will say is please follow our very good friends over at XCW Shelbyville. Because why? Because they are the longest running backyard wrestling company in the state of Indiana, which I believe we're running on 20 years strong. And we've got several shows per week where you can see great content. And you can see Mr. Jackson Law himself there. You have a lot of great content. You have Extra. You have Greed. You have a lot of big shows coming up. We're going to talk about that with Fletch. And I also want to let you know that we're going to have I don't know where Coach is at the moment. I'm sure he'll be here because we're all waiting for Coach. But I will say this. XCW, I want to make sure everybody goes out and supports them because this is a company that I really believe in. This is a company with 3 initials that very well could be the flagship and the standard bearer of all wrestling out there, not just backyard, underground, YouTube, because they do a great job. They have a great roster of talent. And I'm really excited to speak more about XCW. And I'm really excited to speak with more talent from the roster that Mr. Law might know himself. So I'm very excited about that. I really am happy to have connected with Fletch. And thank you, Fletch, for that. And I'm looking forward to speaking with you, my friend, next Tuesday. ADT says, I imagine
we follow XCW like religiously.
Well, and I want people to follow religiously the IMF on YouTube as well. IMF Wrestling 666. And on Instagram, IMF_wrestling. So that way we had 2 plugs with 1 stone. ADT says, I'm imagining him reading off a note card wrote in crayons. Is that possible? Is that actually possible?
Don't break, Law. Don't break.
Is that possible?
He can't write on the note cards with the crayons if he's too busy eating them.
I'm going to plead the 5th on that because I didn't eat yet.
Hey,
so
that's my thing.
Oh,
that's my
calling
thing.
me a bully. All right.
He said, what about conditioner? Dirty Donnie, I don't remember if he said anything about conditioner, but I don't know. What was his Twitter? I think it was Skullz the Soul Hunter. Skullz the Soul Hunter was Instagram and was Twitter. So that's what AJ Morgan says. I still want to know what a Soul Hunter is. Well, I think
we would too.
Well, I'll ask it to him in a few days from now. I will give him a redux.
Don't bring him back on.
Well,
that's just asking for trouble.
ADT said Sportzwire is Make-A-Wish. Well, I do try to give everybody a chance, which is my downfall in life. I know. I have been told that all too often. But
listen here, I was just shooting on the kid. All right, out of character. God, everyone's gonna throw up like, oh, bully, and just
The algorithm hates bullying as well. Well, let me get to Fletch. No offense, I've never seen his work, but I'm not sure Skullz could wrestle his, I guess, hot dog out of his pants, aka wiener. So,
Don't break.
AWL is in full effect. Well, speaking of that, Alliance Wrestling League, looking forward to that on YouTube as well. And I'll see you this weekend, Christopher, going to call that match right down the middle because it's going to be Tyson Gates versus Christopher James, #1 contendership for ADT's title. And, what do you guys, Mr. Law, I don't think I formally got a chance to ask you about ADT. I mean,
why
what
would
do you
you
think
have the referee? Why would the special guest referee be the guy they're gonna face?
Well,
he could just throw the match out.
Well, he could
literally just throw the match out.
Well, the stipulation is he can't touch either person. So basically, he has to pick a winner. Basically, so whoever
he doesn't have to touch either of them to literally ring the bell to start the match and then double DQ.
Well, I mean, I can.
Don't give him ideas, Law.
I can ask Hillbilly Tilly that question. I can certainly ask both gentlemen when they're here Sunday because that match will air Saturday. So I'll tell you what, we can watch it and then we can maybe figure out if they actually did that, Mr. Law. So if you'd like,
if they do, I'll have to go down there and shake ADT's hand and take my royalty check.
You stole my thunder because I was going to say the royalty check is going to go to you there. But Christopher James says, screw me out of my title opportunity. I will make my life miserable. Fletch thanks me for the plug. Also, only 3 that matter, Tom. IMF. And I did plug IMF Wrestling on YouTube. Can't say I didn't. Law 3 Skullz 100.
What I want to know is where's the love for CBW on Instagram?
Critical Backyard Wrestling. I was about to get to that. I have a lot of comments to run through because I actually had a Critical Backyard Wrestling comment for you that I was actually trying to get to, Mr. Law. You got to give me a chance. I mean, I'm not on that level. I don't think my IQ is a 1 or a 2. No, please don't bring him back. And speaking of Critical Backyard Wrestling, which I was saving for you, the wild card Jason Storm, who is your main event, and another guy that I would throw out there, maybe put him in the discussion of certainly he was the man that was supposed to face Mr. Delta. I guess Mr. Delta was heading for the exits, but maybe he didn't want to face Mr. Storm. I don't know. But Mr. Storm would say, what did I miss? But, Mr. Law, I'd like to give you a chance because obviously I've gotten a chance to watch Critical Backyard Wrestling's most recent show that was put up. It was re-put up, I believe, late overnight. But for those that are out there, talk to me about it. Talk to me about the show and what we missed, or without giving anything away, because I got a chance to watch the show. But for the people in, because we have a lot of people on YouTube, talk about Critical Backyard Wrestling's latest show, my friend.
As far as the re-upload goes, there was an issue with the file system and dragging the file onto YouTube. Apparently, the files got mislabeled by the editor. And we got it rectified. It uploaded overnight, which kind of sucks because it missed the premiere time that we usually get the best numbers. But you missed quite a show if you haven't gotten to tune in and see it. You missed shocking debuts. You missed some pretty cool happenings that people never thought they'd see in the yard. And me and my acquaintance Aaron Blaze.
And we saw Fletch right on the outside. How about Fletch sitting there the entire match just about?
Listen here, Fletch. You're single-handedly the reason I didn't beat that prick. Okay? And if he ever interrupts a private phone call between me and my associate Aaron Blaze again, I will beat him into the ground. But anyway, you missed a hell of a show. You missed a dream rematch between Aaron Blaze and Kurt Adams that resulted in one of the best happenings in the yard. And you missed a hell of a main event between Jason Storm, Jacob Collins, and Nico Vibe, where my idiot cousin would defend his championship in a triple threat match against those two competitors. And, well, you also saw a sit-down interview between Jeff Buster and Ref Festus that, well, it's Jeff Buster and Ref Festus.
It was interesting. I was going to say, it was interesting, but the main event I was very impressed with. I was actually, believe it or not, Jason Storm brought it up last night, but Jacob Collins actually kind of won me over a little bit with some of his ability out there. He hung in there without giving anything away. Jacob Collins kind of showed me something, Mr. Law.
Jacob Collins is a loser.
I understand that, but
I mean,
I'm
he's
just,
not a loser. I love Jacob Collins. Jacob Collins is such a good guy.
Mr. Black and Soul. You remember Jacob
Where's
Collins,
that
right?
skill in our
I remember Jacob Collins. I
You remember him?
beating
Yeah.
Jacob Collins' ass when we came
I
up.
remember
Hey now. Don't rag on Jacob Collins. I get very confused. No wonder Delta said he had voices in his head. There's too many companies for me to try to keep in line. I don't know which gimmick to play, which character to talk from. Gah!
Well, if I could, I'd like to actually plug Critical Backyard Wrestling on Instagram at UAW and CBW is where you can find out all things related to Critical Backyard Wrestling. Also, UAW, you can find out more about Let Freedom Ring and all the great things that Mr. Law is doing. You also follow him on Instagram at LawDRL. That is LawDRL. And we're on Sportswire Radio here. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. We're almost kind of picking up the pieces from the fallout of Skullz the Soul Hunter's internet connections, but we sort of picked up the pieces because we are speaking with arguably, I would say, the three guys that are at the top of the list for me when it comes to replacing Jack Delta and some. That is Mr. Soldier GP, Omen Black, the foundation of IMF, and the man that is really, truly the everywhere man. That is Mr. Jackson Law, Captain Law. He is also the proprietor of Critical Backyard Wrestling. He is a huge part of things over at XCW Shelbyville, a company I am very, very happy to continue to speak with because we're going to be here next week with the chair, with the man that has been running that company soundly, smoothly, and strongly. That is Mr. Fletch himself. Very, very excited about that and sore. But if you are on Sportswire Radio on YouTube, I hope you continue to give us a follow and like. Also, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I have an internet radio station called sportnarium.com/player where we play our shows here, the audio version. But right now, we're just hanging back, shooting the breeze with Mr. Law, Mr. Black, and Mr. Soldier GP. We got some more comments here.
Heard Law bring up the name. Aaron Blaze, the same one from YBW, correct?
Yes, that was the name. Would you want to say something, Norman, about that? Go ahead.
In fact, he was supposed to come here at one point and then bailed out.
Hey, okay. Travel issues happen. Okay.
And then you call yourself the everywhere man, right? Is that what you called him?
I call myself
everywhere but Iowa. Everywhere but Iowa.
I call myself the everywhere man. That's his job. He calls me the everywhere man. I just call myself
you should
law of the land, Lord and Savior of every land I've ever touched. The law of the land, the Lord and Savior of every land I've ever touched. And don't you forget the most legendary man to ever grace your screen or any other. You want me to come to Iowa? You want me to come to Iowa so bad. But here's the thing. If I do,
we want you to come to Iowa. You sit there and you say you travel. We know you won't come to Iowa.
If it were up to me, I'd be in Iowa tomorrow. But unfortunately, I have to work.
That's what you're saying.
But see, it isn't.
Is there any message
to
you want us to relay to Felix Jones?
It isn't to face Omen Black. It's to talk about that Will Ospreay wannabe motherfucker who can't do his job better than anybody else. Felix Jones. You want to talk that smack where I can't see and have people relay messages to me? Well, guess what? When you become man enough to relay those messages to me yourself, then and only then can you challenge the law that, oh shit, he's actually right there. What, you have an IMF meeting up there? God damn. Hi, Felix. Guess what? You suck.
I suck.
Hi, Felix.
Jump from the middle rope when you're doing a springboard cutter.
I'm the one that does the springboard cutter.
Yes, you suck.
I don't do a cutter. I don't do a springboard cutter.
Or a springboard stunner.
You're getting me mixed up with someone else in IMF. So I don't do anything Will Ospreay does but a tiger driver.
I watched the match that you had with that one dude for the world title, and you did a springboard cutter off the middle rope, which is
That's a stunner. It was a stunner.
A stunner and the cutter are the same thing, except one you sit down and
RKO.
You're flustering them.
Come on.
One you take a jump up and one you fall down on your back.
You know what? We've seen the many faces of Captain Law. We've seen them almost afraid, now pissed off, laughing.
Like the three stages of Foley almost.
Look, there's laughing one right now.
Here's what we'll do, Felix. You think you're good? I dare you to try to hit me with a tiger driver. I dare you.
Just
You
to
gotta
see
show
if
up
there's
for
even-
that.
You're setting him up for failure because you know he's not going to pick your ass up.
Okay, and neither could you two.
We did. If you don't remember.
Where? When? There's no video evidence.
I
of
don't know
anything
anything about Omen and Soldier. I don't know anything about this. I mean, I would have imagined I would have watched it. Where could I?
At a match?
Look,
I
What?
don't know anything
We
about this.
picked this
Gentlemen.
guy up many of times.
Oh, you picked him up. Okay. Because I
Oh,
was
you're
going to
talking
say.
about him. Okay.
Because I was
okay,
going to say, because Mr.
He's telling us
Law,
we haven't picked
I
him
don't
up,
know.
so
I have no
picked
recollection of
this-
that.
That's fair. I could probably pick him up too. He looks smart. Guess what? You know what, Felix? You don't have to have a belt. You don't have to travel to me. The next available date that I can make it out to IMF, I will come out to IMF and I will whoop your Rudy Poo. Oh, wait, I'm not James Taylor. I'm not going to steal a gimmick. I'll show up to IMF and I'll put your dick in the fucking dirt.
what?
That's a little weird to say to that.
It's an old style sign. You don't.
You
We
want to
did.
say anything, Felix? Felix?
The last guy that had confidence showing up was to face my dad, and he did a no-show multiple times. Come on, keep the confidence up, man.
Keep the what up? Did you say conference or confidence?
Comments.
Oh yeah, Aaron, your buddy Aaron was supposed to come fight me too, and guess what he did? No-showed.
Yeah, guess what? I'm not Blaze. I'm not Blaze. Even if I was, I'd still be as good as I am. And I'm definitely not that man made of metal. I'm not that man made of stinking. I'm not that man made of stinking metal. If I tell you I'm gonna show up, I show the fuck up. There's a reason I haven't committed to any dates because I am a busy man. As this man calls me, I'm the everywhere man.
But
And I'm going to definitely enjoy Fletch next week because I have a feeling Fletch is going to have no internet problems. He's going to be very comfortable in speaking, and he's going to have no problem addressing a whole number of people, and especially the history of XCW. And I'd like people to follow XCW on YouTube.
Fletch's not a soul hunter either. 'Cause my
That's
God.
true. That is true. Now, that is true. I will give you that, Mr. Omen. I know
I
it's
think
your
when it comes
show.
to soul hunting, the Wi-Fi is always a problem.
Well,
You
that
know
is-
what?
Yeah.
I'll give Mr. Felix up there a measure of respect. He is not the worst person I've ever watched wrestle in a ring.
you surely
He's
are
not the worst.
person I've watched wrestle in the
Skullz.
ring.
Hey,
Is that what you're gonna say?
Omen, can I ask you a fun question? What brand of cigarettes do you smoke?
Cancer sticks.
Oh, okay, Marlboro, the green version. Oh, okay, all right.
Cowboy
Now-
killer. The cowboy killer.
Now, I don't know what Felix
Hey,
just said in the
This is the
background.
real
I heard
soul
him say
hunter. Right here.
I'm just saying.
you
like,
right.
let's do a
right.
plug. The cowboy.
Smoking kills.
So
But
they say. So they say.
Felix, you have some decent ability in the ring. I'll give you that. But guess what? You're gonna have to put that ability to the test one day against someone that you're not gonna be able to measure up to. Whether that's me or somebody else, it'll happen. Because I'll admit, I'm not the greatest man in the yard. But I'm sure as shit nowhere near the bottom.
No, he was on earlier.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Well, you are the law of the land, Mr. Law. I'll say that much. But let me move on to some comments. By the way, speaking of people, Mr. Law, that you addressed, James Taylor's here.
Oh my God.
I like seeing Law flustered.
And he says, legendary, then IMF guys are going to eat you up, pal.
Oh, shut up. You didn't even show up to find out. Shut the hell up.
And then he says, trash, more like the trash man. He calls you, that's what he called you, the trash man.
Well, if you
Hey,
call
you
me
know
the
what?
trash man, I'll
Hey, hold on. We're not going to disrespect Danny DeVito and Always Sunny in Philadelphia that way. All right?
Solid.
No,
Guess when you actually show up to any of the places you tell people you're going to show up to, then we can talk, James. Okay?
Mr. Law,
Okay.
Mr. Law, I apologize to cut you off, but I almost feel like I shouldn't bring this comment up, but I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to almost have to get your opinion on this because there's a gentleman that Mr. Omen and Soldier will know who has asked you specifically something, and again, I'm almost terrified to bring this up, but I'll do it anyway because people will probably want to see or hear what you have to say. That is Adonis Felios. Mr. Law would be honored if you do get the invite to WC and go one-on-one with you, Mr. Law.
Don't do it. It's a trap.
Go back. Go back.
I have no comment.
I go anywhere and I will wrestle anyone. I have never said no to going somewhere and wrestling somebody. The thing about it is you gotta know how to wrestle. Because I don't want another instance. I don't want another instance where I show up. I don't want another instance where I show up to another Fed and have to literally wrestle a guy who's never had a match before because people don't show up to give me the matches that they wanted. Because that happened a lot recently. And I had to train a guy on how to wrestle just to have a match. So if I show up in WCE, it better be for something reasonably good.
Hey, Law, but he's the drip king. I mean, he's not dressing fancy. He probably got the drip from his sister the other day. That's near or there. All right.
They're from Wisconsin, not Alabama. That's James Taylor's next door.
You wrestle.
I shouldn't bring this up with you, Mr. Law, here, but there's that.
Old man, no, he's got a point. He's got a valid point. Old man Taylor at it again with the comments because he's a keyboard warrior. Josh Allen has a point.
What is a keyboard warrior, may I ask?
A guy who's all talk on a keyboard.
Now, if I bring somebody else up here that obviously we spoke about a little bit, should I bring this comment up?
It's your show.
Sure. Let's see it.
Get used to it, Law. The more you travel, the more you'll have to do that.
Do what? With I made a lot of comments.
You did that. Take that off. We don't care about quitters. We don't associate with quitters.
Yeah, and we got CJ Black comments because he's mad I didn't read off the comments with Fletch because Fletch kind of basically put him in his place. I was actually trying to do him a favor because I know he lost his best friend today, Jack Delta, because Jack Delta's no more in wrestling. So anything you guys want to say to Jack Delta while he's here?
No, I don't associate with quitters.
So would you say that? So are you saying that he was like Shawn Michaels back in 1997 where he had to go find his smile? Is that what you're saying or something else?
He'll be back.
You think he'll be back?
Go find your smile somewhere else.
So you think CJ Black will help him get his smile back or no?
Anybody can do a CJ good.
He's not that good of a guy, guys.
So would you say
Trust me.
So would you say like on the barometer of it?
He was very good to us.
Better than
Anthony. He wasn't good to me. He threw me away like trash. All because he failed at his job as a referee.
Well, that's people have their opinions, right? People have their opinions.
We're not in the middle between Tom Bryce and CJ Black. All we're saying, we got paid very handsomely.
Oh, I'm sure you did. And I would never. I would say
his paychecks are really nice.
Would they? Would you have been paid more than Jack Delta would have been paid?
I mean, we did.
We're still here, aren't we?
That's true. That's true.
Again, why are we talking about this quitter? Like we don't. I don't associate.
Well,
with
he
quitter.
came on the screen. I mean, that's the only reason I brought him up.
I get that. You asked us the question about the quitter. We told you about the quitter. Now we move on from the quitter.
Okay, we can certainly move on. And I have here, Dirty Donnie would like to say, watch your stuff, Mr. Tay, I guess, right? And then Fletch would like to say, I tried to book a CJ once, but he wouldn't climb out of a Jake Kemp's ass. And then Fletch must not be doing too good of a job, hasn't brought me in yet. Well,
that's because nobody wants to pay your shitty booking fee.
I offered
Hey,
it. You
no
didn't
one
want
wants
it.
to cover your flight. No one wants to cover your hotel. No one wants to cover your food. Guess what? Be a man and travel like the rest of us and make your name. Instead, you're stuck in one little fishbowl. Even Fletch traveled. And Fletch doesn't travel. But he traveled.
IMF and Foundation travel all the time.
Travel a lot.
Well, that's why I said maybe you are the guys that are almost really the real Jack Deltas. You know, Brandon Castelli is another name I have to throw out there.
Except for
name.
one time for CJ Black.
I can't
Other than
discredit. I can't discredit that.
We don't
Jack
ask people to pay us and good money and good storylines like someone we know.
Oh, so what did you just say? Storylines?
You heard me.
Booking, storylines has to be paid in order to wrestle with the company, right? Is that what you're saying almost? Okay, well, I'm going to move on from that because obviously, you know, barbershop window Delta.
Are you calling him
You might as well just bring James on.
Well, I actually have somebody else. All right, do you want James Taylor on? I mean, do you guys want him
I
on?
personally do because it flusters the wall.
All right.
Actually, I tore him the fuck apart last time. There's an Instagram reel to prove it.
Yes, and actually I did post it, and
Felix,
actually
make yourself useful. Get us some popcorn.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, what kind of popcorn do you like? By the way?
I can't even be on for much longer. So if you bring him on, it'll only be for a couple minutes.
I did send him. If you got a few minutes, I did send him a link.
My phone's at 10%. You got till my phone dies.
Okay,
at 10%.
so
And you can ask Fletch. My phone doesn't last very long.
Okay, I did actually. Okay, well, I actually do want to say, would you say the referee tried to fill in the blank on you, Law?
God, Law, you're supposed to be professional. You keep breaking back to back to back.
Where's that referee? He was trying to fuck on me.
IMF. Well, I just want to let you gentlemen know I have sent out.
Act like you've been there.
I have sent out links to people. We'll give them a couple of minutes to see. I actually do have somebody that wants to talk to you, gentlemen. That arguably some people might have said ran Jack Delta out of town. Maybe ran him out of wrestling, their backyard scene. That's
It's Jason Storm.
Well. Top of the evening, morning, whatever the fuck time it is for you, gentlemen. Long time no see.
Hey, we like that guy. Man?
How you doing, champ? How you feeling out there, Jason Storm?
You know, Tom, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed. Right when I think I'm finally going to get my revenge on the destructive Jack Delta, he has to pull out due to injury.
But if some people said maybe you ran him out of town, is that possible? Is that a possibility that maybe Jason Storm ran Jack Delta out of wrestling? Maybe he didn't.
Well, no.
What do you say to that?
As much as I like to hear that, and I do, I appreciate it. Jack Delta's had my number in recent weeks, so I don't know if I could necessarily say that. I do know from what I've been told, his injury occurred in our last match, and he's been competing on it. I guess he did 2 trips after the fact, but running him out of the town, it might be a little bit of a stretch, but I do believe that he knows that I'm prime competition.
He's self-destruct. Fletch said it best. He's self-destruct Jack Delta.
And anything you want to say to CJ Black, who obviously takes the gimmick onto a whole new level, but he says, bring on Coach. Well, we've tried to reach out to Coach. And also, by the way, Mr. Law, James Taylor unfortunately can't make it tonight. He legitimately can't make it. He has a personal so he can't make it. He does send his apologies, and he wishes everybody well.
To answer your question about addressing CJ Black, I have an announcement coming up that I think he'll enjoy. But I also want to talk to these 2 gentlemen up here, Mr. Omen Black and Soja GP, because I wasn't really liking what I was seeing after the 2-on-1 handicap match with Jacob Collins. What was that, gentlemen?
We don't give a damn what you like seeing. You want to take his place? Same thing happened.
Hey, If you got paid the amount of money we got paid, you do the same.
You guys got paid?
We are
Unfortunately,
we go where we need to
for
go.
you gentlemen, I am a man of integrity, and I would not do that to somebody that was already beaten. But I don't know if this is a little spoiler alert for you, Tom, but I'm going to announce it right here on your show. And I've gotten the clearance from ROEW management next weekend. I think I'll be seeing you boys pretty soon. And I've spoken to Jacob Collins, and he is bruised, he is battered, but he is ready to go. And we're going to have a third opponent who I will not name.
You mean
we're
partner?
We're going to take on you two.
You're going to have a third
TJ
partner.
Black in a 6-man tag match. What do you say about that?
What we got to say about that? The money's going to hit our account tomorrow.
Yeah, as soon as the money hits the account, we'll be there. And we're going to beat the hell out of you like we did him.
I look
you guys get paid.
You are letting your pit bull mouth overrun that puppy dog ass. And this weekend, we're going to come collect everything you're talking.
I love how your forehead got on.
Can I say we can go to ROEW Backyard Wrestling on YouTube to watch this as a cheap maybe plug?
Yes, sir. It'll be on the ROEW YouTube page.
And I'm going to say this.
I think you boys will be quite surprised who I find.
And I just want to make one clarification. I actually do want to wish Mr. Delta all the best in whatever he decides. Obviously, I know that people on the show have differences in opinion, but I obviously do want to wish Mr. Delta all the best, and I certainly believe that he is injured, and I certainly, anytime he wants to talk, he's always welcome on Sportswire.
Jason, I got one of those too. I got one of those too, Jason.
That looks nice, bro. That looks nice.
But ADP, by the way, would like to address you, Mr. Storm. Start a GoFundMe for Jason Storm for some hair treatment so we can get some new clothes.
You know what, Storm? I appreciate how your forehead got on the screen before your hairline did.
And the fact that you say
you brought the belt in.
And the fact
but
that
listen here, you think you intimidate the foundation and CJ Black as a 6-man tag? You might be as stupid as you look.
I think you boys will be a little surprised with what I can bring in the ring. And I know my friend Captain Law, we've had a couple of wars in recent history. Tell him, Mr. Law, I can bring the fight. I definitely got what it takes.
Look, I'm not on anybody's side here, but I can say I've stepped in the ring with Jason Storm. I've beat him more times than he's beaten me, but we're not going to talk about that. He's good. He's good. He's got good shit going for him. He's good in the ring.
That's cool. That's all cool and all, but you ain't never stepped in the ring with somebody like us.
I don't know. I've stepped in the ring with guys. I've stepped in the ring with guys bigger than you.
It doesn't matter. Other guys bigger than us. You have never stepped in the ring with us.
I guarantee, Law, I'm going to do something that no one else is doing. I'm going to get you off those fat feet of yours.
If you ever
get you in the EBK. I guarantee it.
I'm sorry. You two talking about fat? That is funny. You boys are comedians.
What's funny is your hairline.
Hey, okay.
Jason, talking about you ran out. Jack Delta. The only thing that's ran is your hairline.
Yeah,
in their defense, Jason, fat people can make jokes about it. Fat people can make jokes about other fat people. Okay, but it says something that the dude with no hair and the dude whose hair is all matted up in dreads are talking about your hairline. So
I ain't worried about the hairline. They should be worried about getting those asses whooped.
I'm not balding on top.
You're thinning out, my guy.
Yeah, you got the Baron Corbin going. You might.
That's the only thing thin on you.
You might want to get rid of it before it starts.
I'm gonna plead the fifth on hair. I'm gonna certainly plead the fifth, but I'm gonna play some comments for you. I say Taylor and Storm versus Omen and Soldier.
You'd have to show up.
5 minutes. We beat him in 5 minutes.
He didn't even know we'll show up.
They're talking about them.
Fletch, I think, is addressing you, Mr. Storm, and obviously Fletch, just so you know, he's behind XCW, and I'm sure you've heard of them. We're going to be speaking with Fletch next Tuesday, so I hope you tune in. And he would like to say, playing gimmicks and being belt marks, is this backyard wrestling now? It's toward you, Mr. Storm. Would you like to address, obviously, Mr. Fletcher, who is obviously the man behind XCW Shelbyville, the longest-running backyard wrestling company in the state of Indiana?
All I got to say to Mr. Fletch invite me out to your show and I'll show you how real the little gimmick or flexing belts is. I ain't worried about no belts. I'm worried about competition. I just win belts, and I am currently a two-time champion.
Where's
To be
your
fair,
other
this
belt?
is an interview. This is an interview show, and we're all sitting here in character, playing our gimmicks and stuff. And like, I assume that that's what he's talking about.
First of all, I'm gonna address something because I've seen Mr. The coach, as you guys call him.
He's actually right here now because I know
The
he said
coach.
Mr.
Yeah,
Ross got a run
it's
through.
no disrespect to him, but what's all this talk about not wanting people to play their characters? I thought this was an in-character show.
Well, I guess we'll wait for Coach. Coach, well, I guess we'll let him come back.
Yeah, let the old man count. It takes a minute.
I'm just curious about that because I caught the tail end of that interview with ADT, and he was on a rant. And I know CJ Black is annoying as can be, but I mean, people are complaining about being in character. This is fucking wrestling. We're playing gimmicks.
I mean, it's an interview show. I guess it's up to
Coach.
Coach.
How you doing? Hi,
it's been a crazy night, man.
I know this was one for the ages. I have to say, one for the ages.
I haven't been able to watch the show. I haven't been able to watch the show. I've been dealing with something with my kids real quick.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
So
with
I did catch the last couple of minutes of Ginger over here talking shit about what my position on this is with.
I said no disrespect. Why are you trying to throw insults at me, guy?
Listen,
Before you guys get into the spat and my phone dies, because it's about to. Look, it's an interview show. I guess if
this man just came on and insulted me, I asked a damn question.
If you want to play characters, that's an in-character interview show. If you want to do out of character, that's an out of character interview show. This can be both, okay? But it gotta be clarified ahead of time.
Absolutely.
I got my belt on my shoulder because we were playing characters, because we were doing in-character shit.
Apparently, Jason Storm is playing the character of Kid Rock and Joe Dirt with that southern accent.
Joe Dirt.
Nothing but insults for Jason Storm, but I haven't stepped in the ring with either of you two, and I don't know what Coach is doing these days, and I don't know why he's throwing insults at me, but I'd like to hear his opinion on why he doesn't like the in-character banter for sure.
Well, okay, you know what? Check this out. You guys, I don't know why you're throwing insults at me. You literally just said 2 seconds ago, I don't know who this guy is. I don't know why he's telling us how to do this and that and everything else. Look, there's a reason.
We've never met.
Hold on a second, Junior. There's a reason that Tom refers to some of the things that I said. There's a reason he brings me on. I have experiences beyond you and beyond Numbnuts last night with his plastic belt. I've been here longer. I've done this. And when I sit there and I say a little bit of advice and I try to help out and I try to pass some knowledge along, is to give back. If you get a problem with that, or she just got a problem with that and he wants to get butthurt, that's on y'all. I try to help out. I try to do what I can to give you.
I think you're taking it the wrong way. I'm just asking out of curiosity.
Are we in character or out of character? Are we?
I've never met you.
Which one are we doing? Am I supposed to comment as Dale or as Law?
You'd be laughing right now.
No, if I was out of character, we'd be laughing.
That's what you'd be doing.
Like I gotta ask. Do I gotta comment as Dale or Law? Like,
do both. Let's see what happens. I want to see how they're different. Come on, do both.
I've been jumping between both all night.
Well, the whole time that I've been doing this show with Tom, I've seen every guy on here do the exact same thing. So out their time on the show, they've done both things. They keep jumping.
Well, it needs to be like I was told ahead of time, like when I asked if it was a gimmick show or an out of character show, I was told ahead of time I could do either. That's what I was told. So, like, that's why I come in here and I do both. But I can certainly see where people like CJ or the IMF guys or any of us really would want to come into an interview show and be out of character, because the majority of my favorite parts of my interview, the first one I had on here, were the stuff I was saying out of character and just being genuine and talking about my experiences. because that's what interview shows are for, is talking about your experiences. You want to play characters, you have Instagrams and you have promos to do it with. And sure, there's certain points during these interview shows where maybe being a character is good.
So I
Maybe
kind
it's
of
neat.
so I kind of feel like that what happens here, and I noticed that at times things get heated here, and I think Fletch in a way kind of sums things up. I think it kind of like bounces around on Sportswire, and I think what's kind of happened is some guys want to come here and they want to talk freely, and then sometimes things maybe they get almost kind of like it gets to a certain level, and people are trying to figure out, well, you know, they want some type of ways to kind of hear you guys, but also keep the character. I think the frustration might be, and this is just not my opinion, but just what kind of people may feel, is that maybe sometimes when you see characters, that when the characters played in real life, outside of when they do these, and then, you know, when you speak to the people, and it's kind of like, okay, this is who they are in real life. You know, maybe people take it the wrong way. I think if you're a wrestler and you're like professionally, you have experience, whether you're, you know, like as you guys here or some of the guys I speak with around the world, I think people look at that, and some people want to kind of like almost, they want some type of like almost line drawn. So I think it really depends. I mean, I think people, that's kind of my answer to it. Maybe people are getting to a level where maybe it's almost like bring it back a little bit. I don't know. That's just what I kind of surmise.
If I could jump in and
Sure, absolutely. That's what we're here for.
And this is out of character for any clarification. I wasn't coming at Mr. Craven with any disrespect. I was asking for general clarification on what he was talking about last night, because it seemed like he was a little fired up, which I do understand if you felt disrespected. I know CJ Black can rub people the wrong way, so I just wanted to kind of hear your thoughts, like man to man, and kind of get deeper into that. It wasn't anything coming at you or anything like that.
Well, first of all, I don't. Ever since I've been on here, the term disrespect to me, I'm not a guy that gets shook like that. Like, I come on here and I can get riled up in a character too. Last night when I was on there with AWL, the last couple of minutes, I was talking to Tom. I was like, you want me to come on here and shoot? Or you want me to come on here and just be the coach, be informative or whatever? Captain Sybil, I could have shot on that guy like I did on Craven Rage in character, but I didn't. I kept it simple, and I made it like we made it about him, as he wanted it to be. He wanted it to be about him. My comments towards CJ Black has a lot to do with this concept of reality when it comes to, being in character 24/7. Like, why are you someone, like, if you want to be your character when you walk through the curtain, be your character when you're in the ring, be your character when you're on camera and screen. I'm hearing all this stuff behind the scenes, like, this guy's in character 24/7. Dude, give it a rest. Like, just on an experience or some advice. Like, he called me, we spoke on the phone for a couple hours one day, and he's asking all these questions, and I'm giving all this advice, and it kind of sounds like the feedback that I'm getting from other people that are involved with Mr. Black, that conversation was a waste of time. And so when it comes to CJ Black, like, I'm not going to judge anybody on their thing. Like I said, I'll pass my experience along. I'll pass my knowledge along. That's why I'm here. It's the whole reason that Tom has me on here. So at the end of the day, if you're going to ask, how do I do this? Or what do you think about that? And I give you my opinion and you blow me off, that's on you. And that's my whole point with CJ Black. He wanted to know what was going on with me. I gave him my opinion and my point of view on things. And I guess in a way I feel like I'm blown off, but it don't make me lose sleep. I'm not butthurt over it. It's like, this guy's going to do what he's going to do. Every last one of these guys, including yourselves that do these organizations, you guys are going to do your shtick the only way you can do them. Like TBW. TBW is going to do their copies. IMF, they seem to be wanting to do all this innovation with all these new things and all these new guys and blending shit and mixing it up. Dale, I'm not exactly sure what your position is. I've seen some of your matches, but as far as how you would work with organizations. You seem to work pretty good. I like that. I like how you do. I like your stuff, boss. But in WCE is, and I'm gonna call Craven Rage out on this. If you got your girlfriend booking your stuff, I don't care whether you're doing it or she's doing it. It's still favoritism. Last night, you got the guy. Hold on, let me finish. AWL, you got this guy on there going, I've been back 7 weeks, and everybody's shining. I'm shining. I'm the champ. And then later on in the conversation, he goes, well, I'm also running the show. Everybody on here already knows my opinion on if you're the champion and you're booking the show. Like, everybody knows how I feel about that. That is one of the biggest mistakes in wrestling, period, whether you're backyard or way up. If you're running the show, there is no point for you to be the top champion. That is like the biggest insult to your own organization you can do.
Okay.
I mean, they do it in England also. They do it in the pros. There's companies that the guy owned the company. But go ahead, Mr. Law, speak.
If I may.
Sure.
Please. I want to hear
as someone who owns a company, and like I own a couple right now. I own CBW, but like nobody, I don't put it out there, but VCW, when Nova died, I took over on that. I also agree you should never hold your own company's world title. I can agree with that through and through. When I took over VCW, I was already the champion. So I already hold the title. But when I was running UAW, it was just me and my cousin and whatever masks we had. So there was going to be points where I was holding the world title. I think there's definitely a place and a time for everybody to hold a world championship, whether you run the company or you don't. But if you notice in CBW, while I may compete for it, I've never held the critical heavyweight championship.
Well,
and it's because
I'm not talking about a transfer champion where you hold it to get it to the guy you want it to get it to. I'm talking about things like this Craven Rage. He's got it for 500 days.
Doing fucking 7,000-day runs. Pointless. The point I'm trying to make is there's a time and a place where even if you own the company, if you have no one else to put in that spot, sometimes you got to put yourself in that spot until someone else can take it from you.
Or build your roster until you can actually affiliate.
Okay, but like, what? Who the fuck are you? Okay, let's go ahead and start off with that. Let's actually look up Chris Craven and see what the fuck we find. Okay, let's go ahead and look that up. I'll go ahead and say
in character, out of character. Like,
I mean, that's the other thing too. If we want to pull back the curtain so fucking much, I said I run the show. Guess what though? Guess what? I meant that as an expression. I run the show. I am the face of the show. That has been since day one. So for us to try to, first of all, too, the other thing is when you start the interview and you're talking about someone like me, and the whole thing is to try to get to know someone, and they are allowed to tell their story on this platform. When they go and they start telling their story, it's not your responsibility, your obligation to just go ahead and go, you know what, kid? I've been around 26 years, and you know what? I learned a lot of shit. Really? Well, then apply it to yourself if it's so valuable. Instead of coming on this show every time and talking bad about someone, whether that's CJ, Storm, Law, Foundation, which you haven't really talked shit to them, which I find surprising as well. But since you want to come on here and shoot and call me a little douchebag after you gave me a lot of compliments yesterday, that's very funny.
Yeah, come on, you speak right.
That's very funny. I don't even want to hear anything, Mr. Suffering Thuckatash. Shut the hell up, okay? Nobody cares about this opinion. It's New Fast City when you get here.
Really quickly.
All right,
this got out of hand really quick.
I don't even need the fucking
at the end
title.
of the day.
If we're just going off a straight, at its core, the interview was Sportzwire Radio with ADT. I'm not flustered by you being in it, but as a matter of fact,
yes, you were. Yes, you were.
Am I?
How many times last night were you like, This is supposed to be my interview. This is supposed to be my time, my interview.
Like, can I ask?
All right, so I'm
gonna
actually jump in on it because I'm gonna try to bring this back a little bit because before
I just want to know why you find it surprising he doesn't talk shit about us.
Because
it's Tom.
I'm curious. Look, man,
at the end of the day,
he wants to point out everything about every single person except for y'all.
At the end of the day, he spoke shit on me and my show.
Clearly, you don't watch the show.
The point I'm trying to make is it's Tom's show. If Tom wants to let us be in character or out of character, his show.
What is the difference?
How the fuck did we get here?
Exactly.
I'm gonna bring this. So two things.
Apparently, because I said something about CJ Black.
I'm gonna bring things back. I'm gonna calm everybody down. So the first reason why we're here, really, and the reason that this all happened is because Skullz had bad internet. I really believe that Skullz would have been on here. He would have been fine.
Me burying Skullz, I cleared my throat. That's what it was.
I love Skullz, but he was supposed to be here and talk, and the poor guy had poor internet. And that's really why we're here. I think we would have had some conversations, but it would have been tongue-in-cheek. I think most guys would not have been here. Coach would have came on at the end. We would have had a nice conversation with Skullz. We would have shared some laughs. Omen would have said something funny. Soldier would have said something about Jovi. We would have probably been off the air. So I'm going to try to calm everybody down because I want to obviously promote all you guys. Here's the truth, right? Even CJ, right? CJ, I believe in what he's doing. I believe in him. And I believe in everybody in here tonight. The reason I have Coach on Sportswire because I believe in his background. But the reason I have ADTs here is because I believe in him. I believe in Omen, Soldier, Storm, and Mr. Law himself. So everybody I don't want to make Sportswire a place where people are looking like they're getting uncomfortable. So I'm going to try to peacefully bring things back because that's in my real life, that's my job. That's my job is to kind of almost be a mediator. So I'm going to try to calm things down. I'm going to give everybody a chance to say something good. So I'm going to go with ADT first because ADT, you're with me and I'm happy to have you Sunday. And we're going to do things in a different tone going forward. And we're going to make sure everybody is on par. So I'm going to give you an opportunity, ADT, in a good way, in what we can expect between Sunday, you, myself, and Mr. James, and why some new people that are here hearing ADT for the first time. So here's the good news. The good news here tonight is that people are here watching everybody's promotions that maybe were from different places, and now they're hearing about you guys. So there's always a good thing. So, Champ, talk to me about what we can expect Sunday between you and Mr. James, and let's go on a good note.
So, gonna admit, got a little hot. Apologize.
That's okay. That's life. Listen, that's okay.
Very unprofessional.
No, it's not. We're good.
It's
okay.
I
love you.
It is what it is.
And I love everybody.
It is what it is. Okay.
About it. We're good.
It is what it is.
Business.
All respect. So
we're good.
Who's watching YouTube?
This Saturday, I have to be a special guest referee because of Hillbilly Tilly's ignorance, and now I have to determine whichever one. Captain Law actually had a very damn good idea, and if I do what I do, I will make sure he gets a cut of whatever. So kudos to him. But Christopher James, I've known for a while, second generation wrestler, and he is by far going to be, who knows? And Tyson Gates too, up and coming, yada yada. Doesn't matter what it is someone will be crowned number one contender for my championship. I'm going to try my best to call it right down the middle, considering now that there are some restraints that has been mentioned where I cannot touch anyone or put my hands on anyone. So calling it right down the middle, glad to don the stripes. And also, I believe Dylan Andrews is on his way back to Alabama to make sure that he addresses his actions from episode 7. So
at the end, which is the end of the show, by the way. And obviously, we can talk about that on Sunday. And I want people to follow the Alliance Wrestling League, please, on Instagram at Alliance_Wrestling_League. Also, Alliance Wrestling League on YouTube. Also, ADT_is_BYW. So I want to make sure everybody follows you. And I want to thank you for coming on. And I want to thank you for all that you do. And I want to thank everybody that's tuned in. And I want to tell everybody that you will always have a voice on Sportswire. Even if you're in character, not in character, that's not going to change. And we're going to put on a good foot now. Mr. Law, I know that your phone is on like 0%, so I want to give you an opportunity to promote anything that you're working on, whether it's CBW, whether it's obviously XCW. Very excited to be speaking a lot about XCW. And Fletch and I have had some great conversations, and I'm very excited to promote this company, and I'm really excited to have a full standalone interview with him. So, Mr. Law, anything you want to plug, share, say, tell us something good. Floor is yours.
My phone's at 4% right now, so
close enough.
You were a little off, but I enjoy coming on here, whether it's in character or out of character.
Me too. I don't want people not to feel uncomfortable in sports. Why? Really, that's not my job.
I obviously jump in between both. But if you want to support me and the stuff I work on, go to xcwshopzone.threadless.com. Pick up some XCW merch. Lawclan.threadless.com if you want to pick up my merch or CBW's merch. CBW Let Freedom Ring just posted earlier, I guess technically earlier today. Going forward, the next thing you'll see on the CBW channel is actually an ROEW championship match pitting Desmond Cross versus Jason Storm on CBW Shakedown. Got to record the commentary for that, but that'll be up on the channel soon. Critical Backyard Wrestling, obviously at LawDRL on Instagram. And go follow me and, support whatever I'm doing. Obviously, I've got a lot of different channels that I'm on, a lot of different spaces that I'm in. And maybe, just maybe, I'll be seeing some people on this screen a lot more sooner than they may think.
And I want to see you here on the screen a lot sooner than we think. And I want to thank you for all that you do. And I believe in you, and I believe in everybody here. So keep up the good work. Go home, go charge that phone, and I'll see you very soon. And thank you for the Critical Backyard Wrestling show. I really enjoyed this past day's show. So thank you for that. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Law. I want to go and give Mr. Storm the opportunity to tell me something good. Give me something to plug. Obviously, I enjoyed your match. I'll come to your next coach. Just want to go to Mr.
Storm.
Sure.
Do me a favor. Hold that belt up, boss. Hold that belt up. I like it. No, I was just giving a comment. I like that.
All right, good. Coach,
I'm checking it out for the last 2 minutes. It looks better than that paper belt.
It's a pretty belt. No, it's a pretty belt. But Champ, I want to give you the opportunity. Tell us something good. Obviously, I really enjoyed the match that you put on Critical Backyard Wrestling, a part of the Triple Threat. I won't tell people, obviously, what happened, but you can go to UAW and CBW on Instagram to find out more. Also, anything else you want to plug, share, or say, and I can't thank you enough for all that you do. And thank you for always wanting to come on, and thank you for believing in Sportswire. The floor is yours.
Like when I hop on here, obviously I'm in character. I don't mean, to step on any toes. Obviously,
no, you're good. You're good, and even CJ's good. I want to make it clear.
I time with it, and I try to make people laugh, and like that's why I hopped in and immediately shot on Hillbilly Tilly the other day. Like that was just pretty goofy, but like you kind of said, Tom, go check out the Critical Backyard Wrestling Left Ring. I was in the main event of that. Won't spoil the results. A lot of good stuff coming from ROEW, our friends up here, at least in my top right corner, the IMF boys, Soja GP, Omen Black. They came and put on a couple of great matches, so stay tuned for all of those. Mr. Craven, like I said before, it was no disrespect, and I didn't mean I didn't know who you were as an insult. I generally haven't met you before, and at least my experiences on Sportswire, I haven't got to talk to you, so I'm kind of glad you did get to pop in today. And I was just curious about that. I wasn't trying to get anybody riled up, especially ADT. Out of character, I think ADT is a good dude. He's up and coming. Like he said, I haven't his previous kind of run in AWL is long forgotten or off of YouTube, so I don't know much about him. I honestly didn't even know he was related to CJ Black until a couple of days ago, so that was a cool spoiler. If you want any of my merch, top selling shirt on tpublic.com/ROEW, of course, got to plug that. Got a new one coming soon. It might be up there actually already, not to spoil anything. And Tom, always a pleasure talking with you, my friend. Appreciate the time. Appreciate the platform. You always do a great job of plugging ROEW.
I love you guys. Listen, I love all the companies. I really listen. I always tell people my life at this point is watching all you guys in the ring. So I don't want this to be a place that people feel like it's getting uncomfortable. And that's why I wanted to bring it back. Everybody, let's try to, I know there's a lot of frustrations out there, but I believe in everybody, and everybody's got different skill sets. I think we've kind of established that, but we always wanted everybody to be a place that they can come and play for. That's all.
Like I said, I strictly asked about the CJ Black stuff because you did mention the other night, Craven, that you did have a conversation with him, and I mean, like I said, we haven't talked, so I haven't really gotten any good advice for you. But I mean, in the future, if you do have anything to shoot my way, feel free. Jason.storm.byw.
I was about to plug it. I was about to plug it here. So
Yeah,
I
he did
would say
pretty
that
good,
was.
though, Tom. He did it pretty good.
You know what? I think he could take over the microphone. He's come a long way. He's
I
damn
wouldn't
good in
give
the
you that
ring.
much credit now.
No, I don't know about that, but you're definitely doing a great job. I definitely thank you, and you're welcome to hang on. We're going to get to closing thoughts here shortly.
Well,
But
final plug, if you will.
Sure.
I have a little announcement on my Instagram that I'm actually I'm going to sign off and post that up now. So
yes, please do that. And by the way, anybody here, whether it's the IMF guys or you or anybody else, you can tag me in any post you want on Instagram. Tag me on anything you want. I will be more than happy to like it, share it. So I always do. You know, I try to like everybody. So
all you gentlemen have a great evening. Thanks for having me on again, Tom. You guys are all fantastic.
You too, Jason.
Appreciate it.
All right. Well, Coach. Before I go to Omen and Soldier, I'm gonna give you an opportunity. Tell us something. I think everybody's now. We're gonna sing Kumbaya, and
I don't know. I might have to get on and start apologizing to everybody. I mean, Jesus, like I said, I've said anybody that watches the show knows that I come on here just to start shit. Sometimes.
No, Coach.
Can you
I
do me a favor? Can you just shit on us real quick so we don't hurt anyone?
Dude, I already did that like the first time I met y'all. Like you.
Yeah,
like,
come on, call me Duck Dynasty again.
Yeah, like you're Duck Dynasty. He's what was it? The country singer.
Luke Combs, right?
Like, and Tom, like if it upset your show, boss, or bothered you,
No, it didn't. I think people. I just think that I wanted to step in because I kind of felt like if I didn't want it to be a situation like with Gunshot a few weeks ago. It was coming to that point, so I could see it. Because I love you guys. I don't want you guys. I kind of wanted to So I think people we're all good now. I don't want people.
You hurt my feelings.
The whole point on this.
You hurt my feelings calling me Duck Dynasty.
The whole point on this is like I said it the first time I was on here with Craven Rage. Okay, I made it very known. I put it out there in a very big way. If you're going to do a character and someone's going to do a character against you, don't take it personal. We're all wrestlers. We're all performers. We're all putting on a show, right? So at the end of the day, if I get on here, whether I'm in character or not, and I say something in a shoot, and you take it the wrong way and you get really upset, like you said, Gunshot did that one night. How are you gonna you're calling yourself a wrestler? You can give a promo, you should damn sure be able to take one. That's just the point I'm trying to make. And apparently it struck a nerve with a lot of people for me to get on here and do any kind of in-character bits against anybody. If they're butthurt about it, they're upset, they're really mad about it. Like, as personally as a human being, if you're that hurt, sorry I crossed the line or struck a nerve with you. In character, as a performer, as a wrestler, as a talent that used to do this for a long time, dude, if you can't take it, then it's part of being in the kitchen. It's part of that heat of being in the kitchen. You got to be able to take it. And since I've been on here, I've done nothing but try to give advice. Whether I'm ripping on somebody or I'm being open, honest, like I was last night with ADP after he'd had his talk. I told him, I was like, look, I like your matches. I like your flow. I like your fundamentals. You got something got something going. Whether I insult him 5 minutes later in character or not is irrelevant. My personal feelings on him, I think that as a performer, he's got very good fundamentals. I think as an organization, kind of like Craven Rage, and I won't compare the two because they are two different things. It's not a comparison. It's not an observation of that. It's an observation of, I've said it before. If you're the top champion for a long period of time, you should not be running the show. And if you're running the show, you should be the champion for a top period of time. And if you don't have the roster, to touch back on what the other gentleman said, if you don't have a good enough roster or a big enough roster to do that with, to do that fluctuation with, then work on your roster. Like the whole time I've been on here, no one's really caught on to this. A lot of people haven't caught on. Some guys have. I'm on here to help. I'm on here. I said it the first time I was on here with you, Tom. I told him, I said it the time you had me on here as a standalone. It was, you brought me on just, to hear from me. Wrestling is give and take. I've been a part of this for so long. that anything that I can do to give back, whether it's teaching, whether it's advice, whether it's help, whether it's, it doesn't matter what it is. If I can help all these young guys that are trying to do this, mad respect to all of you. All reps, all characters, all promos, all works aside. If you're out here trying to grind, mad respect to anyone. Because that's all we ever tried to do. Okay? But when I hear 7 different companies going, I'm trying to be better, how can I do that? And I give you advice. You can take it, or you can tell me to go screw myself. That's up to you. It ain't going to hurt my feelings. If your organization, like the CJ Black thing, really doesn't offend me the way I think CJ thinks it does. If you're not going to take the advice, then that's on you. Like, it doesn't bother me. I'm still going to sit pretty over here in my house and do my life the way I do my life. I'm just trying to help because I see a lot of good guys on here. I see a lot of potential.
A lot of great guys here. No,
right.
Great guys.
I see a lot of guys that have the ability to do great things, whether it's backyard or they want to move up the ladder and make a career of it. I do. I see a lot. And I say this, and I dare say this, and people may not agree. I can say that even from gunshot all the way up to law, or you gentlemen, or ADT. If you have a desire for this, there was a comment said last night that I really didn't agree with. And this is no disrespect to ADT. There was a comment said last night that if you're not in this for the title, or in this to be the greatest, or in this for a legacy, I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but the point was, if you're not in this to be great or be the top person at the top title, you don't belong doing this. And I disagree. I think anybody that has a passion for wrestling, anybody that's a fan of wrestling, anybody that has an imagination or a creative bone in their body to want to do this, has the right to go through those ropes and try. Wrestling is universal. It's for all of us. We all watch it. We all get to enjoy it. We all get to be fans of it. And it's what brings us all together here on this show. It's what makes you guys drive 9, 12, 13 hours to another state to go work with another organization.
Look at what Omen and Soldier do. I mean, they go literally Ohio, Michigan. I mean, they go to places, Wisconsin they're going to. I mean, these guys, like they're hungry. They got they're up at all times of the day. Even Jason Storm just came on. Jason Storm's traveling. I mean, you see, obviously, with DKW, I want to make sure I recognize Combat Joe's coming on here Friday. DKW champion. I really want to give a big shout out to, I knew you were going to say that, but obviously, I want to say hello to Darkron, Matthew Forsaken, Combat Joe, with those guys. The guys are always supporting. So, a lot of guys out there that are busting their tails. And I think that, that's why people want to come on. I think, like I always tell you, Coach, off the air, guys are hungry. Guys want to. Guys are hungry out there.
And if there's any confusion, if anybody's lost or that are watching, that are commenting right now, everything I just said to you guys just in the last 2 minutes, that's Chris talking. That is not Craven. That is not a gimmick. That is not a shoot. That is just straight up heart-to-heart advice, or just an opinion or a comment of one wrestler to many others. Because, like I said, if you feel in your heart that you belong doing this, then you got no right to have anybody tell you can't. Now, sure, any wrestler is going to get in there and shoot on you. Any wrestler is going to promo against you. Anybody's going to play their character off. That's part of the gig. If you're getting personally offended by it, back up. Because you pull the guy aside later on and go, hey, man, I didn't like what you said. Could you not do that again? Don't do it on here because it fractures your character.
Okay.
Like, I want people to understand that this is a show. This is something that's supposed to be fun. And whether Two Belts could sit here for 20 minutes and bash me and run his mouth about who Craven is. All right. If he says some good shit, I'm going to go, damn, he got me good on that one. That was some good shit. I like that. I may not show that on camera, but I'm going to
go back to that Christopher comment.
Okay, yes, we can. What's the best advice you'd give for someone who has not too much experience? Question for both of you guys.
Go ahead, guys.
Keep working on your craft, and you got to be different. Don't be a copycat. Don't be similar to someone else. Be you and be different. If you have the heart and drive in this, you'll succeed. Just keep working on your craft.
Yep. And it's kind of funny. It's like,
well said.
You want advice about how to do this? I say this: craft is one thing, sure. Work on your creativity. Grind. Work on your respect with your peers in the locker room. Think about what you can do for the company. I said it last night. Think about what you can do as a company as a whole, not just for yourself. Scratch each other's backs, because in the long run, it's going to help you out. That's how a lot of organizations stay up and running, because organizations have guys in it that are looking out for each other, not just themselves.
Yeah, like NCBW.
We have one coming up next Tuesday. It's been going for 20 years strong in XCW in Shelbyville, and I'm really excited to speak with them, and obviously Fletch. And I want to thank Fletch for the opportunity, and I really can't thank him enough. And Coach, I always can't thank you enough. I know CJ, I'll bring it up before I bring to the IMF guys, and I'll let you say a few things. Not that I'm hurt, was confused, and you said this was a shoot and wanted me to stop being here. You won't answer me. What's the advice you think that I didn't take? So what's the advice that you think that he didn't take?
That it's a show. Like, he wants to be better. And I told him personally or privately.
No, he does. He has a lot of work ethic.
And I said he wants to be he's a perfectionist. And I recognize the attributes, because I know a lot of guys, and I've known a lot of guys that are like that. They if they're not getting it exactly right, they're gonna drive themselves crazy trying to get there. Build your roster. That was something I gave you. Work on your craft, like Omen said. I've told him that too. I've also said that you got a lot of guys that he has that aren't up to par with him. Okay, give him time. Let him be there. Let him get there. Not everybody's going to learn this in a couple months. Hell, I know a guy. It took. I know a guy. It took over 3 years to learn how to do this properly, and that's with somebody working with him every week. Everybody learns at a different pace. So ultimately, from just as a human being, no character, I'm not Craven right now. Looking outside of wrestling, looking from wrestling outside, looking into it. But with somebody that has a lot of experience with it. If you want things to be good, if you want things to be great, you have to actually pick the brains of people around you that have done it or come before you. Like CJ, this isn't I got no shoot against you. I've got no ill will feel about you. I don't hate you. I'm not mad at you. I think it's a little weird that you asked for advice and I gave it to you. And even when I was on the phone with you, you said, well, I have a certain way I do things. Okay.
Well,
everybody has a certain way to do things.
I want to give him a chance. That's all the advice that I'm taking, brother. We talked a week ago. We've had one show come out since then. Give me some time. He got you. So he's
no, I know that. And I'm probably just busting his balls and giving him a hard time, but basically based off of all the other stuff we do on the show when CJ comes out, because the comments come out and I know exactly the thing. I'm going to change that.
That's going to be your calling card, Coach.
Right. It's time for you to take off. They're calling for you.
Hey, you know what? I will never have ill feeling against the Power Rangers thing. One of those actors actually reached out to my son once when he was dealing with surgery and we almost lost my son. So I will always have respect for those actors. So it's a personal thing for me. CJ Black, I like your work. Don't misconfuse anything. I actually like your work. And I think that's one of the reasons why I touch on it a lot or I bust your balls a lot, because you and some of the guys that you have with you, you guys have a potential. You had one show. I may ride you a little bit more because you got a production, you got a ring, you got guys. You have the ability to teach people. That's a format that not a lot of guys in these backyards have, to have somebody to literally train round the clock. Not a lot of guys have that. A lot of guys got to pick it up on their own or search out that knowledge. Dude, I bust your balls because I think you've got more potential than a lot of these guys. IMF, they got a lot of potential, a lot more than a lot of these guys. And there's others. I'm not going to mention everybody, but I see a lot of guys on here that have so much to offer, so much potential. And that's not to knock anybody that one of the little guys or something that ain't got that much going for them yet. They'll get there. If they love it this much, they will put themselves in a position to get there. I love to see, let's say, I always look at things in a future and like in advance. So if a year from now, right, CJ Black's guys, his whole organization, IMF, WCE, ROEW,
DKW, you got
AWL, what?
CBW, yep.
All these organizations a year from now are 1,000 times better than they were this year. By this time next year, they're 1,000 times better. Everybody's got rings. Everybody's got entranceways. Everybody's got good characters. Everybody's got full-blown rosters. Could you imagine what you guys could pull off if you guys did one of these Summer Bashes things after Summer Bash 2? So Summer Bash 3, and you get all these organizations down. Everybody's bringing a 30-man roster.
So we're trying.
Could you imagine the size of that fucking show?
Well,
it'd be a week long.
Well, that could very well be the case.
Hey, I got
here.
vacation time coming. I could take it.
Well, I tell you what, we're gonna definitely look forward to it. But I want to give.
Now, if anybody steals our idea, we'll sue your ass.
I want to obviously end the show tonight with Omen and Soldier. I want to give them the opportunity, as always, to tell us something that they're working on, anything they want to plug, share, say. And obviously, I want everybody to follow the IMF Wrestling 666 on YouTube. They're going to be closing on 1,500 YouTube subscribers soon. They're going to be doing some huge shows coming up with our friends over at Wrestling Championship Entertainment, and we'll be seeing them, I have no doubt, in many other promotions very, very soon. And gentlemen, floor is yours.
Off, go back to that last Christopher comment.
No, okay, sure.
Didn't get to answer because Coach was rambling on.
All right. Good.
We can't answer that for you. I've not seen your work. But listen to your peers. What are they telling you? They're telling you, hey, your technical work is good. Or, hey, you're really good on the mic. Or, hey, I like your character. It's different. Listen to your peers.
Learn from wherever you can.
That answer on that is you gotta tell a good story. I mean, with that, like he said, we don't know who you are really, so we can't really tell you what you have to work on. But just tell a good story that keeps your audience intrigued.
Send us some stuff, then we'll
just make sure you follow a storyline. I had a friend who wrestles around, who was a wrestler too, who would tell us that it doesn't matter what you do in the match, how many chair shots you take, what you go through a table, or all the extreme, all that. As long as you tell it makes sense to the storyline, then do it. If it doesn't make sense to the storyline,
you're doing it for nothing.
Then you're doing it for nothing. So always make sure you stick, make sure you tell a good story.
And we constantly have indie wrestlers complimenting us our storylines. And
the best way you can do it is watch your own.
That's the big thing.
Go back and study your own footage. Pick it apart. See what you think you did wrong, what you could do better.
Exactly.
Pick your own stuff apart.
Now to this ADT, like I said, haven't watched your stuff. We don't know anything about you. But
careful, he started when he was 9.
I don't care if he gets upset or not. It's in character.
Well, I know I'm an asshole. I don't need to. Tom, I'm sorry. I know I'm an asshole.
No. Listen, it's all good. It's all good. We're having a good time. I want to say.
I was just curious why he was just saying that. Oh, Coach, don't shoot on us. Clearly, you don't watch because he has.
You guys have been together a lot, by the way, almost like 10 times together. But
I want to ask a question real quick that's non-related to any of these stuff. You said something earlier to Tom about Delta. Why did Delta quit?
Well, he has an elbow injury, actually. He has an elbow injury.
Quitter.
Next
he has an elbow injury.
I was just curious.
He actually did an Instagram, by the way, and he basically said he can't right now, he's in that much pain that basically, he can't do it anymore, and he feels
Delta, it's all on the wrist, buddy. Remember that. Sorry.
All right. Well, CJ Black has obviously said, don't cry. I'm a topic in the next promo, and Adonis Felio says. But Omen and Soldier, I want to let you say whatever else you want on your mind and your closing thoughts.
Oh my lord.
Who's that?
It's actually UAW, which is kind of the almost sister company of Critical Backyard Wrestling. So that's kind of who that is. You can follow them on Instagram. Maybe,
No,
but
this is a big announcement. We do have a big announcement.
Would love to hear it.
We're working on it, and
Higher up.
around next week it'll be confirmed. Go ahead.
Well, don't tell us yet. If it's not confirmed, don't tell us yet. Because next week we have a lot of WCE.
No, it's fine because it's happening. It's
Are
happening.
you sure? Because we got a lot of WCE coverage.
I'm 100% sure. It has nothing. Hey,
No, it's nothing.
Do not classify
That's
us like
doing us.
that.
Come on.
Don't compare us to like that. But we do have a big announcement. Go ahead.
The management at IMF, they're in the process of getting our LLC to make us a legit company.
Wow.
We can throw on live shows. We can make money, entertain fans in front of a live audience in different venues.
Well, you know what? That's pretty good. That's wow. I mean, guys.
Next week. We're looking at next week is to be able to say 100% that we are officially.
But we want to say one thank you to YouTube for putting the fire under our ass to do this, because I guess when you have to get monetized, you got to be legit, get tax papers. So,
well, you know what? You guys did it. Nobody else did it because you guys went out there and believed in yourself. You guys went out there and put the work in. You guys went out there and busted your tails to where you had it. Nobody made it possible, but what you guys did, Dirty Donnie, Remington Stryker, Felix Jones, Jordan Nets, Jason Myers, Freddie Daniels, everybody in your company made it possible. That's who really made it happen. I loved having you guys, and I'm proud to call you guys friends, and I believe in you guys, but you guys made it happen. Nobody else did it, and it was all the man upstairs that also helped you, but I definitely am very humbled that you said that, but the truth is that you guys did it. Nobody else did, and, congratulations, and, that's why I want people to follow the IMF on YouTube at IMF Wrestling 666 and on Instagram at IMF_wrestling to find out more details.
This month, what we got? We got
WCE coming on the 12th. We got a nice talent coming this weekend that we'll have videos with from
Illinois.
From Illinois, they're coming
STBW.
up. On the 26th, we have Levi McDaniel's Fight Promotion.
Yes. Good old Levi.
I'm teaming up with Levi and Felix to take on the House of Wolves for his trio championships.
Okay, all right. I'm liking that.
I'm putting myself in the battle royal to determine the number one contender for the world heavyweight title.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what?
And then
I'm excited.
The day after that, we have
Summer Beatings, IMF Summer Beatings. And right now, the only match that's officially announced is Omen is getting his rematch for his world title.
Well, you know what? This is all reasons why I want people to follow the IMF again at IMF Wrestling 666. And much respect to the IMF. People can compliment me all they want, but my goal is to reach what you guys have. To me, that success is the measuring stick of what makes someone
I want to
great.
say something out of pure respect for CJ Black.
Yeah,
CJ, dude, you got it. I'm out of character. This is not Omen. This is Shane McMurray.
Shane and Gary, yeah.
CJ, you'll get there, man. We watched how you work in the ring. We watched your production. We watched your editing. You will get there. There's no doubt in our minds, or anyone's mind, not even Tom or Chris's mind, that you will get there.
Yeah, you're amazing. You pick up on stuff way a lot.
You showed us shit when we got there.
Yeah,
and we showed you some stuff. The backyard wrestling scene is about give and take, trading your experience and your knowledge with each other.
Yep.
Now that's why we're bringing Summer Bash next July to showcase everyone in the backyard wrestling scene who wants to attend. And I guarantee after Summer Bash 2, like Chris said, Summer Bash 3, more people are going to want to be a part of it. As of right now, we have IMF, DKW, some guys from DBW, Rolling Havoc. We have the coach, possibly Tom Bryce, maybe REW. We are in the midst of talking to him. WCE. Legendary Backyard Wrestling.
AWL, it's an invitation for them.
AWL, if you want to show up to Ohio and test your guys' metal being the best backyard company, then come to Ohio. We will showcase that. We're showcasing everyone. We're doing something no one else has done in the backyard wrestling scene. Throwing on a huge event, multi-day event, purely for the sport of backyard wrestling.
And maybe even critical backyard wrestling as well. I want to make sure
Dale, we sent the invite to you. You're more than welcome to come. Dale, you're more welcome to come. I know you're still here. More welcome to come. Anyone in the backyard wrestling scene. Also, we have Levi McDaniel's fight promotions coming. So we have indie wrestlers, backyard wrestlers, and people that have made it onto professional.
What I say all the time, to me, this reminds me of the first Ozfest.
We did invite AOPW.
Oh, our E-Fed that we helped start, AOPW.
Yes, they've been here on Sportswire. Yes, AOPW, know them very well. Yes, correct.
Even James Taylor's PWF. Any guys who want to show up, you're more than welcome.
They definitely, definitely. All that stuff is great. And I want to say hello before I leave to Anastasia Riznia, all the way in California. Her brother Derek is actually not feeling too well, and she listens to us kind of as inspiration and motivation. She's a huge wrestling fan, and I just wanted to say hello to her because she's been going through some difficult things with her family. Her brother is not doing well, and she always tells me how much she looks forward to us coming on with Sportswire. So I want to thank her for listening all the way out there, just outside of San Diego, California. Anastasia Riznia. Yep. Her brother.
I hope your brother gets better.
Her brother, unfortunately, it's not doing too well. Yeah. Yeah, her brother's not doing too well. She lost her father last year, and it's she went through a lot, but she really believes in us, and she always asks me all the time about all of you guys. And I wanted to make sure at least I said hello to her. But gentlemen,
I want to say this: the only person not invited to Sunbreast 2 is Loose Cannon. You
all right, well, fair enough. Well, you know what, gentlemen, this was definitely
Skullz, you're not invited.
I want to thank everybody out there. I want to thank all the people that tuned in and commented. I know this all started really just because Skullz had bad internet. If Skullz would have had internet, that would have just been fine. I think Coach would have been on here. Sergeant Omen would have been on here, and that would have been it. We kind of just would have had fun with
I apologize.
Actually, I think this was a plus. We had a good time.
I always had a good time, but people.
I just want to say this. Every time Foundation gets on, we just.
I'm going to say this too.
Very.
If anybody's watching this and they're all confused on who I am and how I do my shtick, I am an asshole.
No, I like it.
I'm saying it very funny. I'm an asshole.
No,
that's my whole gimmick. I'm an asshole. I'm a dick.
I think, listen, CJ Black said it was 10 out of 10 because of no Skullz. All right, so maybe some people did like it, I guess.
Cool. CJ liked it. That's good.
Well, I think a lot of people did, actually, because people tuned in, but I just feel like I want to give everybody a fair shot. But, gentlemen, thank you as always. Congratulations, fellas, on the LLC. I can't wait to promote all the great things you're doing. You guys are awesome. You're rock stars. Coach, thank you as always. I think we'll see each other, Friday, because Combat Joe's coming on Friday. So I think you guys
all right, cool. I'm not going to waste my time Ohio guys in a while.
And by the way, James Taylor wants to know Nemesis Sessions Thursday.
Me or them?
Both of you guys, I guess.
Yeah,
all three.
Get on me.
Go for it. Let me know.
We'll do it.
All right, well, then there you go. I mean, Nemesis Sessions, there you go. You got 3 for the price of 1, and that'll be James Taylor's show, Taft Taylor on YouTube.
Maybe we can get our own show instead of having to, take over somebody else's.
Well, Sportswire is your show, so you just take over for me because this is almost like
this is my
show. It's his show. Omen.
I'm sharing it. When we wear these shirts, this is our show, but usually it's my show.
I don't own anything. I just work here.
That was a good one, Coach. But well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you for all of your support. I'll be back here, I think, Friday twice. I'll be back with Combat Joe, and I'll be back with Backyard Wrestling Elite.
Hey, I saw he had some words for me when we were on last. So send me a link when Combat Joe goes on.
I think I said Combat Joe. Everybody will be back on Friday with Combat Joe. So
I want to say one thing to him. You could tell him for me, Tom.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome. Because if I didn't weaken Matthew Bersaki for you, you wouldn't be holding that belt right now.
Well, I will certainly let Mr. Joe know that, and I'm excited. I think we're looking at evening time with Mr. Joe, but I'll clarify the announcement on Thursday, because Thursday I actually might be back with C2K, so stay tuned for details tomorrow.
Wait, what?
C2K possibly Thursday. C2K Courage to Kill.
Oh, send me the link.
Oh God. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll be back definitely a few times. And gentlemen, thank you, and thank you to Jason Storm, ADT, and also Jackson Law, Captain Law, the law of the land himself. And thank you everybody for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio.